All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all can hear me out there. It is Talk That Talk Tuesday. I hope y'all ready for a great conversation tonight. Listen, it is ladies' night, and I ain't gonna sing. I'm gonna let them do it. They're choir all by themselves. But thank you guys for being here tonight. When you get in here, hit the like button, subscribe button. Go ahead and get your boy. If you want to buy your boy some tea from, anywhere. Here, I don't know. I mean, I like tea from everywhere. You can go ahead and send a cash app tonight. You'll see that scrolling at the bottom of the screen soon. If you want to send a cash app, you can do that. If you want to send a super chat, you could do that. I appreciate anything that you give, but I'm more excited about the conversation tonight and the people I have on the panel. I ain't gonna say people. The women that I have on this panel tonight, they're gonna come in here and they're gonna bring it. They're gonna bring it tonight. Y'all gonna be, you better go put them kids in the bed. I know they're bad. Go put them in the bed. Tell them it's time to go to bed because Talk That Talk Tuesday is about to start. All right. You see the title of the show tonight. What is a woman? The battle for womanhood is Talk That Talk Tuesday with the women. We're about to have a good time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's about to go down. Y'all know it. Y'all know it. Hey, wait till y'all see who on this panel. Wait till y'all see who on this panel. Right after this, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, ooh, Lord have mercy. Look at this panel tonight. All right. Now, let me tell y'all right now before we get started. Mrs. She Said is spoken for her husbands right there with her. But the rest of these women right in here on fire for all. Listen, the DMs are open and make sure you're right before you go in there. If you're not right, you're going to take flight. But I want to welcome all these beautiful women here tonight. Man, y'all might listen. It is people told me, let me tell you what people told me. Ain't no way you're going to get 9 women on no panel to talk about this. Somebody told me that. Women ain't trying to talk about this.
What?
Oh, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them in here tonight.
Did a whole stream by myself yesterday.
Man, come on. All right, so we got Miss Mo in here. We got Queen Smiley, Miss She Said. It's a real precious. The White School Podcast, Alexis from Texas. And last but not least at all, I am Courtney Michelle is in the building tonight.
Hey, I'm excited.
Let me let you guys get a quick hello to the crowd tonight. We'll start out with Mo and go around the room. Mo, go ahead and speak and tell everybody how they can follow you, and we'll move on to the next person. Go ahead, Sugar.
What's up? What it is? What's going on? Shout out to my motivators out there. This is Miss Mo Reacts. You can find me on YouTube at Let's Talk with Mo, but it's Miss Mo Reacts. It's one and the same. I do reaction videos, a little bit of fashion, and everything else in between. But yeah, you need to follow your boy, black man. You know, you need to follow your boy. You need to follow your man.
I love you, Sugar. I love you. Queen Smiley.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you all are well. You can find me at Queen Smiley _rules on most social media platforms. And if you know my real name, then you know me. And then just find me there. I just be booking and looking, following everybody on here. Shout out to the wonderful ladies who I have the the beautiful honor to grace them on this platform this evening. Looking forward to a great conversation.
All right. Miss She Said is in the building tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello to all the beautiful ladies. BMU, this is awesome. I'm very honored to be here with everybody. Yeah, I'm one half of He Said, She Said, Love in Abundance. We talk about everything, relationships, love in abundance, work, relationships. He said has a cerebral Saturday, so he really talks to the men. And on Sundays, I do Shame Sunday, and I try to speak to the women, give a little reflection of some foolish and bad behaviors that we should check, especially if not for ourselves, for the children. Because cares what the grown women are doing. Y'all gonna do what y'all want. But I focus more on the children and family.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We got Anissa in the building tonight. Anissa, how are you tonight, Suge?
I am wonderful. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anissa. I am relatively new to this YouTube family, so I'm just kind of finding my way around, but I'm so happy to be here with everyone tonight and ready for this great conversation.
Absolutely. We got, listen here, we ain't talking about the Precious. We talking about the real Precious. Real Precious, how are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you. Good evening, beautiful ladies. Black Men Unfiltered, thank you so much for having me. I'm always grateful to be on your panels. We always have some very colorful discussions. So I know tonight is not going to be short of that, okay? We're gonna get into this discussion. And honestly, I really don't talk about this subject much because, you know, you can't compete where you don't compare, but we're going to talk about it tonight. You can find me over at Real Precious Official on Instagram, The Real Precious on Facebook, YouTube. Just type in The Real Precious. I'm going to pop up, okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, she ain't from Oklahoma. She's Alexis from Texas. Alexis, what's going on tonight, Suge?
What's up, everybody? I'm glad to be here with all these beautiful ladies. We in here deep, and I feel like this is really gonna be lit. Is that what damn people say? It's gonna be lit, like that. But I'm just a person that's all through the YouTube streets. So Alexis from Texas may see me in different chats, but I'm mainly over here, and you may peep me over there on JBJ Network every now and then, but this is where we at.
Appreciate you. I am Courtney, not Kardashian, but Courtney Michelle.
Fact.
Courtney, how are you tonight?
I am doing great. Thank you for inviting me. I am happy to be here. I'm just seeing a comment. JoJo, let me shout out him, okay?
Go ahead.
Because I made a post on the Instagram, and he decided to post it on Twitter because it was a special message to T.S. Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And she got hold with it, and it's going viral.
Well, thank God for TS then. Ain't there something? Look at God.
Look at God getting the message viral, talking about I'm not ever and will never be a cis woman, baby. Okay.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That was a good one, by the way, Courtney. That was a good one. I saw it.
Thank you, Mo.
Wow. And last but not least at all, the Wife School podcast is in the building tonight. Wife School, talk to us.
Good evening, good people. My beautiful melanated original made sisters. I am so excited to be here. I'm glad that we're addressing a topic that so many people are kind of afraid to address and are sweeping under the rug. It probably took too long to talk about it, but I'm glad we're here tonight. You can find me at the Wife School Podcast on YouTube, Instagram, and I just can't wait to get it started.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, ladies. It's about to go down tonight. Now, I want to start out with a video here. I saw this guy doing stand-up, and I had to share it with you guys because it's funny as hell. So let me go ahead and pull him up, and we're going to hear from him first before we get into the meat of the conversation of tonight. All right, here we go.
Call me he or she, call me they. And I was like, what the fuck? It took me 3 years to learn I am, you are, he is, she is. This whole gender neutral pronoun is confusing for me. Let me tell you a story. I invited a friend to have dinner at my house the other day. And he was like, oh, I'm bringing a friend. And I said, of course, bring him. He was like, no, bring them. So I bought a lot of food. I bought briskets and pizzas and pastas. And my friend showed up at my house with one person. So I said, where are they? And he said, they are here. So you tell them that they're gonna eat all of this fucking food. I saw the other day.
All right, we started out with that right, man. That dude is crazy. All right, so the first video I want to show is how this conversation got started. Everybody know who Jess Hilarious is. She's a comedian, and she got into it with T.S. Madison. No, first it started with someone else, and then T.S. Madison jumped in it when it was none of her business. But yeah. So this is how it started, ladies and gentlemen.
That they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello?
Hello. Who the fuck is gonna stand up for us? Who the fuck stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your fucking ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that.
Like.
All right. So, ladies, I want to start with this video first. All right. What are your thoughts? I want to know your thoughts on this initial video so we can start at the genesis here before we move on. What are your thoughts, ladies?
This is what delusion looks like. This is what delusion looks like. Something you admire so much you hate it. You know, God has given us the right to have what we have, and something that you want you can't have, so you hate it. You know, I don't feel sorry for you that you were born in the wrong body, but how dare you disrespect real women, creators of life, the only ones who can. Like, it's amazing to me, the audacity. I'm just gonna end it with that part.
Yeah.
I'll jump in. Oh, go ahead, Courtney.
Oh, my apologies.
You're fine.
I think this is the real misogyny. I think that a lot of times, a lot of women talk about misogyny and it goes to straight men, but never ever have we taken a look at the other letters and looked how the misogyny they have for women and the hatred that it is for women, because not only it's going to be a pattern, and this is why I've been so out front with it, because it's not that you first you wanted to look like us. Now you want to be like us. The next step is telling folks that they're better than us. And let me tell you, that's the next step. And I've seen the people do
It started.
It's
They doing it already.
misogyny that they hate us so much because they can't be us. And so now they want to denigrate us. And what you're not going to do is that, not on my watch. So no, she can take that. No, I own all of it. Because you just you feel like something, you can't feel like what I'm already am. I'm innately a woman. And you would never know how that feels like because since day one, from birth, I've been it.
So, like you said, from birth, you've been a woman. My thing is, where are these seeds planted in this community's mind that, hey, today I want to be a woman? Where are the seeds planted? Is it being around the women too much? Is it not having the male figures? Like, where is it necessarily planted to the point where you're curious, and then your curiosity takes you to wearing wigs and pantyhose and wearing purses and
That's a
painting
deep
your
rabbit
nails?
hole right there.
That's an easy question. It's being a DSM 4 and the 5. Now they're probably going to change it when they make the next one. It's always been an illness. It's always been, gender confusion. That has been an illness, and that's been to the break of dawn. It's been a mental illness. And that's okay. You treat mental illness as such, but you don't treat it by trying to make someone something that they would never be, because it doesn't treat the illness. It's still going to be a problem. So now that's always going to happen. You always going to have delusional people. People think they someone that they're not. People that are crazy and they not. Psycho. I mean, it's just a mental illness. It's just now we're trying to justify mental illness as that I'm going to identify it and I'm going to make it a normal thing. But that's a Pandora's box. You don't want to treat mental illness as if it's normal.
Well, it's becoming normal. So when you say mental illness, that's not going to be what's associated with it.
Gender dysphoria, that has always been a thing.
I think there's a few things that are at play. There's a circular conversation, and what I mean by that is this whole debate on what is a woman, because I think that's the title of the show tonight. What is a woman, and are women fighting a war for their womanhood? And so in saying that there's a circular conversation that's happening right now, you have individuals who are trying to redefine the definition of what a woman is, right? So it's that circular conversation that's going on. And then you have the absurdity. And that's individuals saying, I identify as this because that's how I feel, right? They even got a guy who went as far as identifying himself as a dog, spent $20,000+ to be a dangum dog and to come outside for a walk. That is absurd. So that's part of that mental illness that you just spoke to. And then there's the true fact, the actual accuracy of what a woman is, and that's someone who was born with 2 X chromosomes, who was born with the ability to reproduce. I'm not going to say that they reproduce because some women can't, but they're born with the parts and the ability to do so if those parts are functioning properly. And so those 3 things are at play. So when you ask the question, what is a woman? A woman is a woman, what you were born as, not anything that you identify as, not anything that you can redefine into being, because a cactus gonna be a cactus, gonna be a cactus. A cactus can't ever say, oh, I'm gonna be a rose because I have a blossom, right? And so that's the reality. So are we truly fighting a war of our womanhood? No, we stuck in a circular damn conversation.
I want to jump in real quick. I got like a couple of points. The first one was when we was talking earlier, and she said, and Courtney kind of touched on it, they came in legit like wolves in sheep clothing. Legit, that's how they came in, dressing like us, being the girlfriends. Hey girl, talking, and we accepted them. And a lot of times women, especially women of color, accept people or accept different people because we know how it feels to not be accepted, and not only not be accepted, but not be accepted based on something that we cannot change at all, as far as being a woman and the color of our skin. Secondly, I don't know if any of y'all watched the What is a Woman documentary. I've seen it a couple of
Matt Walsh.
Yes. And one thing I remember, he was talking to one of the psychiatrists or I think it was one the doctor.
I have it for tonight. I cut it down. We're gonna go through it. I cut it up. It's ready. It's hot and ready, like the Little Caesar's pizza. We ready. It's coming out tonight.
But you see, he had also made the point, like he said, if someone, a person that doesn't have a person that has an arm, but he comes to you telling you, hey, I don't have an arm. Are you gonna cut that arm off to make them feel better that they feel like they don't have an arm? And they're like, no, that's absurd. Like, they're treating it like it's absurd, but then when it comes to this, it makes total sense to them for some reason. And I wanted to touch on what Queen Smiley said as far as a woman. And I got this early, but a woman is a noun. Like, we go back to first grade. A woman is a noun. An adjective is something that describes the noun. So the pretense of woman is already there, to where you don't really need the definition, or you don't need to say, oh, well, a woman has breasts and all this. We all come in knowing that the woman is the noun. We know what woman is. And I can put the adjective on there that I'm a Black woman.
Facts.
But you put that adjective of trans because you want to make it known that there's a difference, or you want to describe the type of woman that you are. You want to modify that term. But we all know that you're not the original thing, because if you were, there would be no need for the adjective.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, well, the definition of a woman is just an adult female. That's it. You just grew up. You was born this way, and then you grew up to become a woman. Just like a male to a man. It's the adult form. That's it. There's no cis or nothing. I was born a female. I grew up, went through puberty, had my period, got breasts, can get pregnant. Now I then became a woman. That is it. And the idea of trying to change it and now say it's on a spectrum and I can be, no, you can't. The pure definition of it is a woman. What is a woman? An adult female.
I would like to speak on it as well. Like, I think we've gotten so far. The Ferris wheel is out of control. Nobody can grasp it because, society has progressively tried to defy God. Man has always tried to defy God. It's I was listening to a professor. She described the thing as called intersectional. So it's like a whole bunch of things happening at the same time. So we have science trying to back this. We have a community of people that are trying to impose their mental state of being onto a populace that know that this isn't normal, but they're trying to make it normal. We have them in all industries. We have them just popping up everywhere. And it's a spiritual thing. A lot of people have left God. Who is God? So it's like, that's a spiritual, type of thing, because Alexis, you said that they came in unaware. No, we know it's wrong, but we don't want to speak up. We don't want to look odd. We don't want to be the odd one that says, no, this is not right. This is not acceptable. So now we've silenced ourselves so much now that there's this narrative that's being pushed and that they feel so freely to do what they want because we've allowed it to go on for so long.
Sounds like there has been no shame.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Because I think what's missing in that part is that we've allowed it. And I've gotten so many messages of men saying, you guys allowed it. But I don't think people are taking into effect that even though we are having this debate, transgender folks came from us. These are our children. And I think that we're missing that out. It's, we might not agree, but we haven't dismissed them and not loved them because they came from us. Everybody came from us. And so as a mother, as a nurturing woman, it's going to be a part of us that's not going to just want to dismiss or put folks to the side, because these are our kids and our children. Even though they might be, misguided, they came from us.
Mhm.
But now is the point that we got to be parents and mothers and get them in line. You came from us, but you will never be us, baby. And that's why I think us as Black women, we have to set the record straight. We gonna love you regardless, because we gonna love you because you ours. But baby, it's some correction that we have to do. And you're not gonna take over something that you will never be, baby. And just remember, you came from me.
That's something that I wanted to agree on with what Courtney just said. And, my thing is, one thing, when we say, we allowed, when people say we allowed, man, listen, it's so bad. It's worse than it was before. You really have to watch what you say, because everybody is so sensitive now about the he, the them, the they, the she, the it, whatever. Everybody is just so sensitive now. Stuff can come down on you without you even realizing it, because somebody wants to get the big old grand idea. Oh, my feelings are hurt. Oh, I'm so sensitive. I'm going to report you. And this and that and the thus. You really have to be careful with what you say. So the part about, we allowed, I don't know about all that. I don't agree with that 100%.
I don't either.
If you okay, well, what side are you on? So you don't allow it or you do allow it? That's the problem. So even if we're just catching up with what people should have done in the past and how they attach their movement to a Black civil movement. You know what I'm saying? It's been allowed. Like, you don't have access to something. You don't have access to certain things if you allow it or not. And that's just it. So many people, they don't want to make the line in the sand.
Can I say this, Mo? Let me say this, Mo. Let me agree with you, because I don't think it's about us allowing. I think I heard Funky Geneva said that majorities of the alphabet folks came into our spaces, not necessarily because we just always was just big supportive. We were allies because they was of service. You see, they did your hair, they did your makeup.
That's what I was gonna say.
But let's be
clear. Your choirs.
But here's the thing: it wasn't just Black women allowed it, because who are these transgenders having sex with? The men. See, we don't want to talk about that. None men is gonna say nothing about that, because they not.
Oh, that's
you about to start something.
That's definitely happening.
Sex. That's why a lot of them are getting murked, because they are sleeping with our men as well too. But that's a conversation that the men don't want to have. So it's not that the women.
We're gonna throw that on barbershop talk.
Right, right. Because it's not just the women allowed it; the men was having sex with it.
Exactly.
That's included into we as well.
I think that goes into what Wife School Podcast was saying when she said it's spiritual. This is spiritual warfare. This is what's allowed under the watch of the mighty dollar, of who has the mighty say in the music industry, who has the mighty say in the entertainment industry. Why do you think so? There are some people that was on the scene that left the scene. There are people that's on the scene now that are being encouraged to advertise to this community, advertise to, what's that rodeo cowboy boy? Like, who knows if he was really gay, but it brings that crowd. It brings more. Yeah, it brings more money. And like you were saying, Courtney, it's the services. I remember seeing feminine men doing hair, nails, all of that. Now they're the one with the wigs down to their butts and the nails, and they're doing these skits, and they are now popping lit in the social media industry, and they've made their career off of that. You also have, I mean, back to even Living Color. You know, you have these skits with these men, and we thinking it's funny when we're young, but now we're like, oh, we was laughing at two men, you know, acting funny towards one another. So it's been in our face. It's been in plain sight. You know, it's been hidden in plain sight, and now the floodgates are open because again, the people, the spiritual warfare, the people we don't know, the names you don't know and you don't see in the small print, they are controlling what's coming out in these streamways and on the TV and in your speakers. And that is what's being shown to the youth. And the youth think that's okay. And the youth is like, oh, well, they making money doing these live streams and doing these skits and you know, it started. So even like Black Men Unfiltered say, even the church skits back in the day, they had a little sprinkle of a dash of them thrown on the wigs and you know, it was that culture, and now the culture is being expressed like, well, we did it, you know, for skits, but we can roll this into our real life because it makes us money. It gets us the notoriety. What's good now is now what was supposed to be good is now bad, and what was bad is now, you know, was good at some point. So,
but
but back then the skits was shameful. Back in the 90s, we made fun of that. That was
right because it wasn't because it wasn't as visible as it was today. Now it's being normalized.
That's not true. That's not true.
It is being normalized today. You go on Instagram, every third skit is of a man doing hair or shaking his behind or acting like a woman.
That's what I'm saying. Back in the 60s and 70s, we had Flip Wilson. Okay, let me take y'all back.
Oh.
Okay. We had Flip Wilson, so it was always
that was one.
No, it was a few.
Now we have thousands. It's a difference now.
Thank you.
This is what I'm saying. That it was a mockery, and people, it was shameful, and that's why I think that's why people are trying to come to the forefront now because they're trying to take the shame away. I just watched the Breakfast Club 3 years ago with Malik Yoba on there. Now coming out as he's loving trans men because he couldn't say that back then because it was shameful. Now in the past 5 years, you have a legit group of men and women trying to make the shame go away. And that's what you're seeing now. But back in the day, you saw the Flip Wilsons. We would joke. You see Martin Shanae. No one took that as serious. We made fun of that.
But that's what I said. I said that. What I'm saying is today, because of the industry and because there are things that we can't control, it's a spiritual warfare thing. It's not a human. It's nothing that me and you can fight and pick and go and, you know, stand out on the front line and say, we don't want you to be this way. It is a spiritual warfare thing where, yes, you can be an advocate. And this is why I don't really speak out against this topic. This is something you got to pray about. This is something that you really got to talk to your children about because social media is going to train them. Social media is going to indoctrinate.
You know what? If you have something wrong with your computer, you're going to take it back to the Apple store, right? This identity thing, what God has commanded, needs to be taken up with him. You understand? So it's a lot of issues that, like I said, has negated Christ, has X'd him out in a way. So now we have science, this like intersectional thing. That's why I said we have science. So now I'm going to become the best plastic surgeon so I can do boobs. Okay, now I'm getting those clients. You know, they ain't going to stop, you know, taking them because like, hey, now you got laws in place. Now you got lobbyists in place. Now we coming together to make this thing real. Okay, you can't say nothing against me. So it's a lot of things that we are fighting. And so the fact that they're just, you know, defying God in that way, I'm going to do what I want, how I feel. This is how I feel. You can't tell a person how they feel. Like, you know, we have our periods and things like that. And we tell them, well, you want to feel like this because you don't know how we feel. You can never tell a person how they feel. That's why you do have to pray. And that it is an identity thing that God has to deal with and to change and transform you back.
Well, my thing is, I do agree with, you know, it's something going on in, you know, as far as the spiritual realm of it all. Yes, prayer. But then after you pray, you have to, you know, go on to the next step. And I agree with the other young lady. Yes, it starts at home.
Yeah.
because it's war out there. As soon as your children or us step out of the house, it's war out there. But it starts at home with you talking to your kids, because your kids ain't going to be with you 24/7. And you need to do the best that you can with them, with educating them. Yes, praying is yes. But then after that, you have to do more than beside pray.
Yeah. The Bible speaks that says prayer and faith without works is dead. So no, you have to work. And you're just letting this, I'm just gonna pray about it. Okay, but you got to work. And the work is actually speaking up. It's actually not being scared, because the thing is, the community is maybe 0.1% of Americans that identify as even as gay, but because ain't nobody speaking out because everybody's so scared, then they have taken over.
But I don't think it's about being scared, but what exactly is your agenda? So you want to speak up. So what exactly are you speaking up about? What exactly would you like to get done?
I'm speaking up as a parent because I see these books in my daughter's school. So therefore, I will go to PTA meetings and say, get these books out of my daughter's school. I'm speaking up because in the state of Tennessee, where we had drag queen hour for our kids here, and because I spoke up and helped with Matt Walsh, because he's here in Nashville too, it's banned. That's speaking up. It's having a voice. We have a voice. We're so powerful as women, as Black women. But then when it comes to this stuff, the generation of degrading our children, then we're so scared. But this is what we need to be fighting for, our kids. To hell with all these relationships, Our kids are suffering and need us. So we speak up. And once you speak up, once you start going to PTA meetings and say, get these books out of the school, then they're gone. Once you go to council meetings with people that agree with you, and you support that, and you have a voice too, or you put your name on the roster, then it becomes banned, which became banned in here in Tennessee. It works, but we need power, and it's numbers. The power is in the numbers. It ain't just sitting back at home. You're needed.
Right.
You're needed.
Right.
And it's a collective effort. I think Mrs. She said family. Real Precious saying praying. You're saying, get out there and be active. It's a collective effort. Like you mentioned, faith without works is dead. Works with an S. And so it's a collaboration and a collection of efforts. And so we have to be doing multiple things. And so me and Black David, shout out to Black David, modding this thing. We truly appreciate everything that you do for Black Men Unfiltered Network. You are the bestest. But he and I was just talking about grandbabies and family. I start any and everything that I do, any and everything that I stand for, I start with my family. And so I have grandchildren, and I'm trying to, and we're teaching my grandbabies what's a male, what's a female, what's a boy, what's a girl, right? And so sweet old precious thing. But he sees a female who's dressed like a male, got the whole boy look going, flat chested and all, and he has this thing now because we're in the teaching process. So he walk in a room and say, hi, he'll speak to everybody. He say, that's a girl. That's a boy. That's a girl. My mama, she's a girl. And so he points to this girl, and that's a boy. His mama like, no, that's a girl, Dalen. No, mama, that's a boy.
See?
No,
See?
mama, that's a boy. And so having to, and we talked about this before, right here on Black Men Unfiltered Network, talking about when do we start having these conversations? And so many people try to say, oh, no, we got to wait till high school. Today's 35, just about to get married.
Right away.
We can't have these conversations. Bull crap. Okay? I'm calling cap on anybody who thinks that you're too young, your children and your grandchildren are too young to have these conversations, because what I will not have my grandson out here being is confused.
Exactly.
Okay?
The formative years are up to 0 to 5.
So we have to be very informational at young ages now, because, like Real Precious is saying, we can't even bat an eye without it being in front of us, to the point where it's even in cartoons now. You don't know if SpongeBob some days a boy or a girl, the way he bat his lashes. You get what I'm saying? So you have to.
I mean, we grew up with it. Bugs Bunny. We
Tom
saw
and Jerry.
all the hard. Any of the real men were gun-toting, gonna kill them. And
Yo,
Bugs Bunny will put on a dress to manipulate, the man,
Daffy
and
Duck would do the
it was always shown to us. So, we knowing that in our generation, this is why the protection comes from us.
Yeah.
And the first
Have the
step is keeping
conversation.
families together. And when the
Exactly.
men are not in the home, just because you hate that man, them children love that man. That man needs to be around. They need to be present. You need to make every opportunity you can. Don't be that wedge in between when it comes to that man and those children. I hate that. It really bothers me because they're needed and necessary. Whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, they're going to get to see, they're going to get to judge. You don't need to be down their neck with it. Now, abuse, nobody's saying keep your children around an
Right.
abusive person. Nobody's saying that. But some women are bitter and angry and they spitefully keep their children away from the father and the family. The more family, the better.
Some of us have those bitter women in our family groups, in our friend groups, and we, again, action. Faith without works is dead. You have to hold those women accountable. Shout out to my daughter. At times she's gotten upset with her kid's father, and so they working things out. They do their little thing. They're young, so I let them do whatever. But they're back on one accord, and they, dating and loving on each other again. But here's what I had to explain to her when she saw herself being so mad. She had the audacity to block him. I said, girl, you out your rabbit mind. If you don't unblock that man right now, I ain't finna go back and forth with him, and he ain't got to worry about it. I say, one thing you will not deny my grandchildren is their village. You will not deny them their village. It's your responsibility as a mother, because you have these children, to allow him that passage, that relationship with that child. I don't care how mad you are. Unblock him and allow the relationship to continue to unfold. So
what do you think, Miss Anissa? Miss Anissa sitting at the bottom. How you doing, Miss Lovely? We ain't heard you say a word.
I think everyone is saying so many things that I agree with. So I'm enjoying the conversation. But I think Queen Smiley said it takes a collective. And this is spiritual, and this requires boldness in Christ. And I think for too long, we have not been bold in Christ. It does require you teaching your children. It does require you, as Courtney Michelle said, going to school and speaking out against the things that you see just aren't right. It also might require separation. You might have to stop going to that hairdresser and that person that does your nails, because
that's good. That's good.
Listening to that ratchet music, watching the shows.
I tell people all the time, I will never push my views on you, but don't ask me. Because now if you ask me, I'm going to
You don't want the answer.
Exactly how I feel, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the word says. I don't care about your feelings when it comes to that. I don't care if, if your feelings get hurt and you can't talk to me and what. I'm going to tell you exactly where I'm coming from and what I stand on. And I'm going to stand on that, whether you are a family member, whether you are a friend, whether you are a coworker, whatever you are. That's why I say, don't ask me, because now if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to tell you exactly where I stand. And it's not going to change because of who you are. That's the kind of boldness that we're going to have for Christ.
Right. Well, I think we need to go ahead. I'm sorry, Miss Anissa.
No, that was it. Go ahead.
All I was going to say was, I think we need to put the full court press on them, because they have definitely put the full court press on everything. The clothing, the little kids with the clothing in the stores, the books, as Miss Courtney said, it's all in the schools. What they're teaching our kids, they are teaching this stuff. So a little boy went to school one day. He came home with a dress on. It was all in the news.
Yep.
It was all up in the news.
I saw that.
What? Well, how does that happen?
Because the schools are now being taught not to tell parents. That's what a lot of people don't know. The schools are being taught, and there are now policies trying to be pushed where they don't want the kids to tell the parents, because the parents have a bad reaction that their child might be trans. They don't want any hate or for them to feel discriminated against. So now policies are being made for teachers not to tell the children. I've seen things where kids was getting COVID shot.
Yes, I seen it.
With the parents' knowledge.
Seen it.
And I want to bring it full force, what everyone was talking about as far as, you know, the dads being in the home and things. I'm a full proponent. And being that I do co-parent with my daughter's dad, we made it where, you know, for the past year, I haven't worked. I've been a stay-at-home mom. And, you know, financially, we was able to kind of balance, because he's like, you know, I really want you home with Zoe because we saw this stuff in her school. We've seen all this stuff, and I want you to be PTA. I need you to be a helicopter mama right now. Because the things that my daughter is seeing in the first grade, like, oh, hell no. And before I pull her out that school, I was like, okay, well, let me get a little bit more involved. And my involvement in the school is looking at what's going on, seeing that there's policy, seeing that they're doing stuff. And I'm at her school every other day. But because I'm co-parenting, and that's because I'm not fighting with no man when it comes to my daughter, because I love her so much, I need to be a mother. My mothering job is really, I'm going to these schools and I'm going to check and I'm going to see. And then when I start seeing this stuff and I saw these books, and my daughter was coming home talking about, I got a book that was recommended with 2 moms in the first grade. So now I'm having to have these conversations about things that I never in my life would have thought that I would have to talk to a 6-year-old about.
Yep, talk to the kids. Ain't no age too early, because it's never too early for them to start asking questions.
We have to get on it. I'm so sorry to interrupt. We're gonna have to tell them everything.
Yeah.
Because now, as we know, it's gone beyond just the women. Now they're attacking our children. Now they are attracted to our children. So, like I said, the rope, the inch that you gave is a mile long now. I want it all. I'm coming for everything. I'm coming for everything. Everything.
They have always.
Yeah, it's so horrible. You have to really stand. We have to really learn how to mixture that nurture and that love. Like, I can talk to you, but now I'm gonna have to correct you. Now I gotta discipline you. But it's all in love. But hey,
so looking at this comment, CBN's Tech Talks, I was just getting ready to say, it does not matter what you watch on whatever platform.
It's a sprinkle of it in there.
Don't matter.
Everything.
They always inject it in some episode, in some season. You could be going along good. Oh, here we go.
Right.
But that's one thing I like about living in Texas, in the area. Not just Texas, but the area of Texas that I live in, as I do sit in comfort knowing that my little country area, I ain't got to worry about none of that in school. You know, I'm like, Billy ain't having that. They got signs out there at the school when they was having the school shooting. Legit, my daughter's school has a sign that says, telling the parents that the teachers and the staff in here are armed. Like, there's a sign out there. They want whoever to know that if you come up in here but buckling, we got it back at you. There's certain stuff I just don't worry about living in Texas. Now I can say I can't really depend on them to teach, our history, but I'm gonna be honest, my dad is from Kansas City, Missouri. My mom is from a little small town in Mississippi called Louisville, and my parents never depended on white institutions to teach their brown babies their history. So I'm good if y'all not teaching them the history, because I got it. But the other stuff, Texas, I don't have to worry about out here in Lampasas County. I ain't got to worry about none of that. Girl, boy, they ain't doing none of that.
All right. Hey, now I'm gonna say this real quick, guys, before we start. Guys, thank you for being here tonight. Whoever's watching, we got 73 watching, 51 likes. Get those likes up for me. Also, I want to do these super chats, and then we'll get right back into the show. We got Information Man in the building tonight. Information Man with a $4 super chat. He said, "Much respect to your brother and panel." All right, and then we got Dr. Nkumbe in the building tonight with a $5 super chat that says, "Shout out to BMU Network panel mods and those in the chat." So thank you for the $5 super chat. We also got Ricky in the building tonight. They liars, bro. They liars. Ricky Williams, thank you for being here tonight, man. Peace to the God, the goddesses on the panel. BMU keep grinding. Thank you so much. We got Grove Dwayne in the building tonight. He said the fact that we have to define what a woman is lets me know it's time for a line to be drawn. A woman is the greatest gift opposite of a man. I knew this was coming years ago. Let me say something about this. Andre 3000, the rapper, said something about a couple of weeks ago that blew my mind. He said, in 10 years, we're going to have to take our children to a museum to show them what a real woman looked like.
Ooh, you didn't say that. I didn't even connect it to this.
Wow.
My God.
Oh, Black Man Unfiltered?
Come on.
Wow.
So we also got Marriage, Politics, and Sports $20 super chat. He said, the real pressures, it comes partially from the coddling of women in today's society. Who wants the pressure of being a man when they can transform to a woman? He said, unfortunately, I'm gonna get him on that. Unfortunately, Black women were Trojan horses into letting them in. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We got What We Know podcast in the building tonight with a $10 super chat. He says, back in the day, men were mocking women. Today, men are being women. All right. Marriage and Politics in another $10 super chat. He said, RuPaul has been a T-star for a while now. Here is the finesse. Since there are the stylists that have biological women and T women look cosmetically the same. Oh Lord. We got Hink in here with a $5 super chat. He said, good evening, ladies. Great conversation. We got Marcus Evans in here with another $5 super chat that says, hello, everyone. Great conversation so far. And the sponsor of the show tonight, Security Boss, with a $100 super chat that says, appreciation to BMU. Salute to the ladies and the chat. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you guys so much for everything that you do and supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Now, guys, I want to show you guys another video because you guys are cooking. Y'all are cooking tonight. But I want to show y'all this video that really just, I think people are starting to get tired of this. On a state level, in radio, people are trying to bring it up and they're getting cut off at the knees. This is a radio show of a young lady doing a radio show, and a man called her a cis woman, and she went off on him. She gave him the business. So let's watch that real quick. Here we go. Yeah, she killed him. I got it. This is going down tonight. Here we go.
You should be safe from being attacked
you, Black Dave. I
by a
appreciate
cis
you,
or
brother.
a trans woman. So actually, everyone should be safe in prison.
Can I just say, you're not allowed to come on my show and say a cis or a trans woman. A woman
It just is
or
the
a
Latin
trans
opposite
woman.
of trans.
No. I'm not a cis woman. We are biologically women. I am not going to have that BBC claptrap on my show.
I'm just using a bit just to differentiate.
No,
It was just a term.
I'm not going to have it. I'm not a cis woman.
Blame the
I'm a
Romans.
woman. I was born a woman. 50% of this population are women. We're not cis women. We don't have to adjust what we're called for a tiny minority of activists who don't even represent trans
So if
people.
I said non-trans woman, would that be?
That would be equally.
acceptable?
If you say that, I'm going to ask you to leave my studio. I'm absolutely serious. I'm not having it. Our language in this country traduced in this way. I'm a woman. You are a man. I'm quite happy for someone to be a trans woman or a
She's
trans
not
man,
playing.
but you don't take away what I am because you choose to change your gender.
But you get that. I was only using it in that sentence to point out the two groups.
No,
So in
the
general,
two groups
I
are
refer to you as a woman.
and trans woman.
Yeah.
She's right. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yes,
Where does cis come from?
yes.
Who made that up? What is that in the new translation dictionary?
They take everything from
That's what I'm
Latin.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
What does it mean? Is
where
it?
does
is
this
it-
Derived
crap-
from Latin.
Now hold on just a minute,
Where
guys.
does this crap come
I got
from?
two more. I got two more for you. I got two more for
Hurry
you.
up.
We'll discuss all three of them. Here's the one. This was a state conversation. This woman went to a state, her state meeting, and this is what they told
You
her.
said that you're a trans woman.
I trans female, yes, ma'am, sir.
Do you have a penis?
Well,
That's horrible.
You're the one that brought that into the discussion.
I
You're the one that
never
brought that
said
into
anything about genitalia.
Oh, it
Is
has
there-
everything to do with it, I can tell you.
I don't know what my rights are right now.
Audience, if you want to stay in here.
I don't know what my rights are, but that question was highly inappropriate.
You do not have to answer any question. If you're through, we'll dismiss you.
Well, I'm not through with questions, but I'm not going to answer that question. That's highly inappropriate.
Again, you can say that, and that's your right. So.
Okay, I'm a healthcare professional, a doctor. Please treat me as such. Next question, please.
Then last
Like,
but not
you
least,
want to be identified as a woman, but if as a trans woman,
You can't
but if
give us no
someone-
last but not least. You can't put all of that on us and then want us to just dissect three feet.
I got one more.
Trans
One
women
more.
are men.
Hurry up.
This is Congress. This is Congress. Here we
Agree
go.
with Ms. Gaines that there's a difference between women and men?
If the question is about trans women,
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
what I can say is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition
Okay, I'm
happened,
going to try again.
the rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes/no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the
Is that a yes?
conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions related to sex.
Is
but
that
I
a
also
yes?
think
So I'm
that
trying to
we're-
get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech.
I'm
Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're
which
not
is
answering
different
that.
than
Let me
gender.
ask you this question then. Why do women's sports exist? If you can't define a difference between women and men, why not abolish women's sports and just tell little girls to swim with little boys and see who wins?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that sex
My
is different
question,
than gender. And
why
I
do-
believe
why
that
do
women's
women's
sports have a great
exist?
value. I mean, Senator, I'll tell you right
Ms.
now.
Robinson, please answer the question I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
Why do women's sports exist?
I think that there are so many positive benefits to sports.
But
I mean,
why have a
we talked
separate
about it here
category for
today.
women? If there's no difference between women and men, why to have women's?
I love it. I love it. I
That's
saw
that
that
circular
clip a while ago.
conversation where people
I
are
saw that.
redefining the definition of simple definitions. Why
Mm-hmm.
can people not answer the simple question?
Because she on that boat too. Whenever somebody's on the boat of what come on, there was a whole bunch of maneuvering there because she's on the boat. And no. When did this cis crap come in? When did this start happening?
Break every video down. Break them down. Break them down. Go ahead.
94, 95.
Let me
Really?
can I say something?
What?
Let me-
94, 95.
Let me say something, because this is how people will lie to you if you don't do your adamant research and stop listening to what people say on TikTok or Instagram. Cisgender, correct, is a Latin term that was entered over here in 1994. It became in the dictionary as an adjective in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a medical term. It's a term in the dictionary. It's not a medical term. If you look again in medical books and you look under cis, do you know what that stands for?
Other side.
On the side.
Not in the medical books.
Mm.
That's the dictionary.
Yeah.
If you look at medical terminology, CIS stands for CIS, clinically associated syndrome. Is one of the 4 multiple sclerosis diseases courses. It is a medical term for multiple sclerosis. It is not a medical term in medical books. Doctors don't use that. It is a term in a dictionary, just like homie is a term in the dictionary. Just like the probably nigga will be in it. So don't have these people lie to you. A term and what's medically used with medical doctors are 2 different things. And that's how people lie to you if you're not educated on what's going on. If you're going to debate, like I said, if you're going head up with these motherfuckers, like I do, you have to be well educated, understand what you're talking about. Cisgender is a term in the dictionary that was introduced in 2015. But it's not a medical term. Cis is the other cis that's a medical term is legit about a disease.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't tell you that. But
The
again,
only
we
test I use is
read and we always listening to what the people tell you in the comments and the TikTok videos, then they will have you believe something that is not true.
I want to throw out something real quick, just to sort of deviate, because the medical and stuff came up from Courtney, and I just want to put this out there. I don't know if anybody know, but there was a woman, a black woman at that, like that adjective, a black woman, that went to the hospital because she was hurting, and they said that she had cancer. Today, they finally have gotten some type of settlement because they took this black woman's cells and they used them for research all through the years.
Henrietta Lacks.
And did not give that woman's family not a dime. Took
about
her
time.
stuff. And they finally gave them something. And it's like, you want to talk about woman as a feeling. And to touch on something just about 10 minutes ago, we were talking about as far as men dressing up as women. They are not even correlating. And then as a man, you're not going to correlate the fact that this started way Shakespeare, because women could not be in plays. Women couldn't do certain things. So the men,
you're so right about that.
In Japan as well.
yeah, and they were dressing those parts.
Yes.
And now they dress these parts for real. and so when y'all talked about like when we did it to make fun, like they did it for real, and then they said, oh, not since we can't do it for real now, we just gonna make it comedy, satire. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about it being in sports?
Oh my God, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, all right.
If there were dudes on our team, another team,
that's a whole
on
nother
the
thing.
court.
No, that's a whole nother thing.
Can you
No,
imagine
but
your daughter
here's the
wanting to play basketball, and there's a LeBron James sized guy coming down, kneeing your daughter in the head, or she wants to wrestle and there's a guy thumping her on her head? Or I've seen the transgender UFC fighter, the transgender female fighter, and went in there and beat the dog shit out that woman, cracked her eyes, broke her jaw, just destroyed her.
You know what's funny to me? That the fight it seems one way. Where are the trans men in this fight? They're not up front. They're not beefing. They're pretty feminine.
Here's my thing.
Here's my
thing about the whole sports thing.
Like
the whole sports thing. The transgender community, they're trying to take over everything. Why don't you just go on ahead and do a sports league? Why not?
Get your own league.
Get your own sports league.
Get your own league.
Get your own league. I know. I put money on.
They got enough
there
funding.
Someone that is willing to spearhead that whole thing, and then you have your own league. Our kids and our youth will not have to be penalized just because they're getting ready to do a basketball tournament, or they're in a tournament, and then here comes Sasquatch. And then the team boycotts, but then all the sports is thrown out. Come on, that's a bunch of bull crap.
But that's not the point. The point is that I am a woman and I deserve to be here because I need to get the Woman of the Year award because I am a newfound woman. I have my new installments. And so I did the change. I went all the way through. So I am Courtney Michelle's equal. So that's
no, you're not. Going over there with the
want, the validation.
Can you imagine, and this might be disrespectful, but a bulldagger fighting a trans, that'll be something.
Yeah, I'll pay to watch that one.
I will pay to watch that.
I think that when the whole sports thing, because it's happening, but I want to say this to you guys while y'all concentrating on other videos, because I know y'all finna give it to them. But I saw that they were on the floor. They were in some state. They were discussing, if you don't call them what they want to be called, it's going to lead to felony charges. They're going to give you a felony.
I've seen it. That's why I was saying that what I said earlier.
Yeah.
That's
So
why I said
yeah.
you got to start speaking up.
Yep.
You got to say something because it's going to get worse if you're silent. You have to work. They have to see that we're not a silent majority. We are the majority, but if we're silent, they don't give a damn because the minority is so damn loud. But once we start speaking up as women, particularly Black women, then that's power. It's power.
We gotta I just want to throw out something real quick. I'm a movie buff, and I kind of thought it was funny that Miss Rose said they need a league of their own. Because ironically, there's a movie.
A league of their own.
It is good.
Yes, there is. I'm totally serious.
That was a whole different premise.
They need to get their own league.
I know.
That's the thing.
So okay. So let me ask you this then: what are your thoughts on T.S. Madison saying it shouldn't be trans women, it shouldn't be cis women. They all should be just called women across the board. That will solve the problem.
No, you're not a woman.
That's where they try to brainwash. You know,
I'm with old girl in video too. Ain't no such thing as a cis women. We are women, and then there are men, and then that's just it.
And then there are people who like to pretend and want us to live in their reality, which is unfair. Like it's kind of pushed and forced on everybody else.
Yeah, it's like we do need to get educated. Sorry, Black Man Unfiltered. We do need to get educated on what words mean, because cis is just a prefix. You can attach it to anything, and trans means on the other side, which a trans man is trying to be a woman, right? So we have to know language and apply it right. It's not that it's wrong language, but the context of what they're trying to bend it and manipulate it to mean is not the right thing.
Yeah, it is a lot of different vocabulary.
And that's the indoctrination. Yes, that is a prefix, but now it's assigned to, gender, things like that. It's just manipulation, and it's so bad. And like you said, we got to get our resources together. But the thing is that we got to come together and then not say that we don't need our men, because we're going to need our men behind us, because who are we in correlation to them? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like so much stuff that has to happen with our part. Gather the men, gather our children, and stand against it.
And I will also say this: if you are a trans individual, or if you're a part of the LGBTQ plus, I think that's AI,
LED,
HD.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you're a part of the culture, and I'm being silly, so I am a little silly. But if you're a part of that culture and you're watching this, right? Feel free to do what you do, how you do. And so the issue that I have, and I can only speak for me, the issue is that I have is when your beliefs are being forced upon me, children, and anybody else. Like there's a group of individuals, and some of the trans or gays and bis, whatever, they frown upon them too, who try to force themselves in situations and make the whole community, as they say, look bad. And so that's the issue that I have. If you want to be who you want to be, and you wake up in the morning and want to identify as a ladybug, by all means, do your thing. Just don't step over in my lane and tell me how I should live and what I owe you, because you chose to wake up doing whatever you wanted to do. And so that's the issue that I'm having. And so and I think, what do you say, Courtney? You were in Tennessee, wherever you're from, wherever you live at. But the reality having, we have this hour, is that built into the school? That was built into the school, the trans hour you mentioned earlier in the show?
They would, the drag queen hour, 3 hours, it would be in the public libraries. And they would have.
And so to do things like that versus doing whatever you do in your own community, those are the things that I have a problem with, is the fact that if you want to be so different, and if you want to be categorized in your own box, in your own lane, do that in your own lane. It does not have to be forced on everybody else. Just like the young lady in the video, when the guy asked her, he asked the question, hey, you're a trans woman, do you have a penis? Whoa, where's my rights? Where's my rights? I shouldn't have to answer that question. How dare you ask me such a thing? what's wrong with the question? It was a yes or no question. Do you or do you not have a penis? Same thing. You know, when our wonderful senators out here in Texas asked a young lady, and I'm guessing it was a lady. She didn't really look trans. If she was, kudos to who did her surgery. I mean, because she looked like a woman. And so when he asked the question, what's the difference between a man and a woman? And that circular conversation started on what a man and on what sex was and what sports was, like all of that extra stuff. Like, bruh, stay in your lane. If you want to fight for some rights to do what you do, you already been given the pass to do what you want to do. Everything else that you're fighting for, like, chill. Like,
but this
chill.
is America. This is America. We could do anything we want. We got to get
Girl, America's so ghetto. America don't even know who America is from the day it started. America ain't never had a platform to stand on. We've always been a big melting pot of things that we made up and brought from other countries. America ain't no America. It ain't even its own country. It's a mixture of different people, different culture from different places. Because it's been robbed of what America truly was before everybody else came over here.
But listen, this is America. We got to make Uganda. We got to make all these other countries get on board. You can't suppress the.
Oh, and if they don't get out them other countries starting that mess,
well,
Africa over there giving them the blues.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, there was a Bohemian.
I think it was
the Bohemian president, or I don't know what they call him over. He said the lady came on. She said, "I'm a trans woman. You gonna call me one?" He said, "Don't tell me what to call you. I'm not gonna call you that. You are a man." He said, "You are a man. You are a man. I'm gonna call you a man. You are a man. I'm gonna call you a man. Don't you tell me what to say." He said, "Don't you tell me what to say to you. I'm gonna call you what I see you as. You are a man with a wig and clothes on. You're trying to be a woman. You're not a woman. I'm not gonna do it." And they told him, "If you don't do it, we're gonna cut your mic off." He said, "Turn the mic off."
But that's what needs to happen. There needs to be where you're standing your ground. Like the one woman said, "You're not welcome in here if you're going to call me a cis." Like, you know, because you get this surgery and you know you're now what you want to be. But when someone asks you a question, do you have a penis? It's like, oh, now I don't want to tell you who I am. It's like, well, what do you want to do then? What are we doing? You know, outwardly you want to look,
but want to talk about a woman's period.
Yeah, so
the problem
it's
is
very confusing even within their community, and I think the outrage and the anger comes out because they don't want to be completely honest about who they are.
And I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to be disrespectful about Uganda. In Uganda, is it a president or do they call him something else? Because I think it's the president, right? In Uganda?
It's president.
Okay, so the president of Uganda, they sat down with him and did an interview. He said, "I talked to America, and America said they want us to help them with the gay rights." He said, "I talked to Russia. They want to train to get ready for future wars." He said, "I don't know what the hell is going on with America. When Kamala Harris come over here, she talk about man being with man, woman being with woman. And I talk to other countries, we talk about war and strategy." He said that America is no longer good for no one.
I don't know if people realize that even this situation makes America looks weak. Like, look at our
it does.
Exactly.
If Russia want to come and invade us, it's going to be so easy because our men are now women. Like, we look so daggone weak.
Imagine if you get a trans president.
It's coming.
It's possible. It's possible.
It's coming. It's coming.
I think the real anger, the
woman president.
I won't be shocked.
Can't hear me?
They get
go ahead, Miss. You said.
I think the real anger is that there is 100% failure rate for them to change their sex. Like, there's no way. I don't care what you do, how many surgeries you have, you're still a man. That's the problem.
When you dig them bones up, guess what?
Yeah,
you're a man.
Somebody might not see a woman. I don't care how much, you know.
Let's not even talk about when they dig the bones up, because your chromosomes is not going to ever change. But the thing is, the spirit of you is not going to change. So the spirit of a man, which I don't think a lot of people understand, the masculinity, the spirit of a man is domination. They want to dominate. And this is what we're seeing. Trans women, they want to look like us, but the idea, they still have that man spirit of domination. So again, it's not that they want to be you, they want to be better than you. Because it's the spirit of a man of competition, it's the spirit of a man of dominancy. They want to dominate. And that's what I think we understand. They trying to look like you, but they still are a man, and that man-esqueness is to dominate.
Yeah,
and that's
that's
what
why
they
they.
try to do.
Yep, that's
You
why
don't
they.
see
That's why they going.
man, you don't see them because they still women. And they
Yep.
women know when they see a man, a real man, they gonna fall back. But trans women, they don't do that because they know they still men and they have that dominant spirit in them.
I agree.
I
That's why the men, when they talk about trans this and trans that and be, going all overboard and going to the fifth power, trying to do everything better than women, trying to look better than women. I mean, come on. Be going through all these changes, trying to be so much better and just bigger than life and just doing the most, as they say. I'm just sitting here being me. Why you? I'm sitting here being me, but you got to go to the lengths.
And Courtney touched on it earlier, they're having sex with men. So that's the scary part to me, because if you still got that dominating, spirit and aura about you, it's like, okay, we got some wanting to be women and then others accepting the women, but they're really men. And like I said, those positions in those high places that we don't know anything of are mostly ran by men.
I meant to say
what is best.
I'm sorry. I just want
I saw
to.
two things today. I saw where they're trying to do a transplant, a cervix transplant for men, which is, it's just a lot of men gonna just be walking around here sideways. That's just not gonna work.
You don't want
listen,
it. Like, why do y'all want those problems? Like, I don't understand.
I just want to touch on something real quick that the Real Precious just said, because I meant to say it earlier, but I got sidetracked. I think that is another thing that is pushing and fueling all of this, the way that transgender people are standing up and really, really puffing their chest out, is because they're, men are getting with these transgender people. And so that, I believe, is giving them more of a, she ain't nothing. Look what I got. I got a man sleeping with me. I'm better. You know what I mean?
They ain't got a man. They got your man.
I got your man.
They got your man.
Exactly.
They got a fish's man.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so let me ask y'all this then, because one night on Barbershop, about a month ago, had all the fellas on, and I put up 5 pictures of women and the trans people. I put them all on the screen. The scary thing about it, Queen Smiley, you remember this? The scary thing about it, the men could not, and Hink was like, what the hell is this? Right? The men could not decipher who was a woman and who was a man. That's how scary this shit is.
Sadly.
All the dudes on the panel was like, man, and I told him, I said, that's a trans right there. Oh no, that's crazy. And I said, I'm telling you, that's a trans. What else you want me to say? Right? And then they start saying, you know what? They need to tip that damn surgeon because he did a wonderful job. I mean, the surgery back in the day, they had them looking like a damn Picasso painting back in the day.
Yeah.
But now they're taking their time with their jawbones. They're shaving down the Adam's apples. They're giving them hormones to change their voices. The breasts look natural. They did the surgery, like my girl Courtney said. She saw the video. I did too. I couldn't even get through it. The world class started throwing up. When we watched the back.
Did he?
Oh my God! Who was watching in the back? Who was watching in the back? And he said, they showed the entire surgery. It looks like it's just.
And let me tell you something. I don't care how they do that surgery, which way they do that surgery, how many tubes they put up in that thing to hold it in place. They'll never be able to exercise them Kegel muscles like we can. I ain't in no competition, baby. I ain't fighting for nothing. You hear me?
Can't mimic that.
Listen,
I ain't in no war. Not in my womanhood.
You know what? I gotta give Black women some of this smoke. Okay? Because y'all made the transgenders your stylists. They made you look like them so they can easily fit in. If you put a picture of a trans right now, it ain't got nothing on there, none of us, because we all look like natural women. None of us look like trans. But when T.S. Madison and all them trans get, well, y'all just mad because the trans look like y'all. Well, if you look at the Cardi B's and all with the lace fronts and the pounds of makeup and the couturiing, they look just like drag queens.
Mm-hmm.
And we've made ourselves look like clowns like them. But if we took it off and just be like she said, Real Precious, Queen Smiley, ain't none man could ever.
Right.
White
Let's
school.
take us.
Ain't none man.
Not the men, but sis. Sis.
That's what the men have been telling us
The little
forever, and nobody's listening.
Our
And women,
womanhood,
they don't care.
Our womanhood is taking it back. It's actually loving being a woman, taking care of our godness ourselves, our own natural hips, our own natural breasts, our own natural like we ain't got to do all that.
Right.
We have to, but they want us to look like them so they can fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And no man can get to not a one. T.S. I wish T.S. Madison would get on this panel and try to compare herself to any one of us.
I never knew who that was.
Maybe, but not
who that was until I saw you talk about her. I am Courtney. I didn't know who that was. It's like, who is this?
She's a big influence.
Well, let me say something to you guys. I want to see your facial expressions. Are you ready, Miss She Said? Because you have the best facial expressions. You can tell a story by not even talking. You just look. So some of the things that I've heard and some of the things that I read that the trans women are calling you guys, and I want you to express it with you real quick. If I can. They say you are no longer breastfeeders, you are chest feeders. You're chest feeding. You don't have vaginas. All of you just have front holes. You can no longer get pregnant as women because they don't call you women, they call you carriers and pregnant people. What are your thoughts on that, ladies? If you can oblige.
Who gonna start?
Disrespectful.
Because you
sound like jealousy to me.
Let me put it in terms how they would say it. You chest feed, front hole, can't get pregnant people as female. That's what they call it.
You know, Milky, your titty looking ass.
Yeah,
ain't no way you'll ever birth a baby looking ass. You hear me, baby? We can go for it.
Nah,
what else? What else? I ain't got no hole looking ass. What else you want me to say? You hear me? What else you want me to say? And like I said from the beginning, if you're a trans or you whatever, you trans, I don't mind you doing whatever you want to do, but you ain't gonna ever come for me. You ain't gonna ever be able to compare yourself to me. Ain't no way in Hades hell you will ever be able to proudly, and when I say proudly, walk around here saying, I am a woman.
Exactly.
Y'all want to sing it?
You can put whatever acronym, synonym, metonym, whatever else you want to make up in front of a woman. Okay? But you would never, ever be a woman. Identify with who you want to identify with. Be who you want to be. But stop coming for women who are naturally in their own form and rights, since you want to use the word all the time, to be called a woman, because our milk do leak from these breast assists. Okay? And guess what? Our front hole, okay?
They call it,
and that hole that birth, that hole that birth children.
You have a bonus hole.
Yeah.
Man, listen. Oh, God.
Look, you can call it what you want to call it, but you'll never be able to use that thing the way we do. Okay? All right? We ain't running around here holding us up.
That thing don't even go wet.
How you having sex with a fake coochie? I don't understand. Like, how you do that?
Nasty.
How you
I'm
do
just
that?
saying.
Oh shit! You know,
I'm done.
Miss Queen,
What
Miss
man,
Queen
really?
Smiley, Miss Queen Smiley. My hat's off to you because
I'm
that's
done.
why I asked. That's why I asked who on the start. Because
What man
that's
is
a
like,
bunch
yes,
of
I'm
bull
hitting that
crap.
good. Like,
That's a bunch of
Not
straight
the organic.
bull crap.
Come on, world class. Not the organic non-GMO women.
Because ain't nobody calling us those names.
Well, hold on now, because
except for
periods.
them.
Hold on now, because periods and womanhood don't belong to y'all.
Man,
How come it
please.
don't? Who gets it?
so why do they want it?
And men
Why do
that
they
are
want
women
that?
have a natural ability to menstruate. So now, but now he got a mustache and all his hormones. He got his Adam's apple. He looking like Clark. Oh, it doesn't belong to you, but biologically you are a woman.
Now I want to say this. I got a super chat. I'm gonna read the super chat because somebody aimed something at you guys, and I want to read it to you. We got Marriage and Politics here. Says that what he said, BMU, it's called a bonus hole. Okay, we already announced that.
Please hurry up and throw Tarus up here so I can eat him up.
I know it. The secular, I know, I'm waiting to that last. I'm gonna hold it for last. The secular rainbow movement can't sustain or reproduce itself without recruiting our children. The action battle is for the minds of the. I heard an older lady say yesterday. She said the reason that they target the children because the children are the future, and the way to destroy or direct their future is by going to the children. All right. So we got Tyrus in here today. Tyrus is ladies. Now I want you to hold your mute while you shout because y'all know y'all gonna get him. Tyrus said, waiting for someone on the panel to acknowledge how small and fringe the T community is to live this rent free in y'all minds. For them to be a threat, y'all speaking as they actually are a threat.
No, they're
absolutely.
not.
I agree.
They're not
I
a
agree.
threat. They're
I
not a
agree.
threat.
I mean, but
They're
all of this
not a
we don't
threat
have.
because
They're not. They're
saying
not.
whatever
The
they
way
want
we
to say.
sound.
It may not be to us, but it's to our children. And so
Exactly.
Yeah, the name.
That's what Mama Bear wake up.
Yeah, go ahead, Miss. She said.
I'm just saying the name calling and the insults and shit does not affect me. You know, it shouldn't affect us. Like, who cares? Words don't hurt, but again, our
I
children.
want it
well,
to be
for you.
petty anyway, because I'm a petty
Yeah,
individual.
I feel you. I feel you.
I love
feel
being
you.
a little petty and messy.
No, you need to be because it's
Yeah.
time for us.
No,
to
you can be. I don't need to be. I don't need to be.
don't have
You
to.
you have more free will. Yeah, absolutely. Y'all good.
Mrs. She said is saying exactly
Focus is the
right.
kids. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what they want. Like, this is not going to get us anything. I don't know what this is going to do, but make us look silly being up here yelling and carrying on. You understand? So I'm just saying we need to, like you said,
that's what we
like
need
you
to
said, go to the school and do what you're doing, and everybody needs to get family together. But this is not new. This is my thing. We're not going to act like this is new. There's always been people who prefer children. They're actually having to have themselves an acronym, which you all know, minor attracted persons. It's a thing. So this is something we all talk about. So we need to focus on being aware of that, making our children aware. And like you said, teaching our children from young. For 30 years, I've watched people say, my child is too young. I don't want to tell them that.
Right.
You don't tell your children they have a vagina and a penis. A lot of people don't do that. So educating them with more of that, so that information, so when they go out to school and somebody tells them some bullshit, they coming home to tell you, and then you can re-educate, and then you can go to school and inform, or if you're not in there, you know, but it begins there.
So let me say this real quick before anybody goes.
It's a little crazy just now, lady.
If everybody knows Hink said he worked at a school, and he walked in the bathroom. They walked in the bathroom after some kids left out, and he said these are fourth and fifth graders. He said there were condoms on the floor, opened, unwrapped condoms in the corner that they had to clean up. And so when we're saying that our kids are too young, or people are saying that, you're being very naive because if you don't teach your kids at a young age, that guy at the school gonna teach them, the little girl gonna teach them, and now they got these cell phones. So then your child don't have to have a cell phone. I heard somebody say, well, take them cell phones from them. You can, but her friend gonna say, oh, look at this naked man on my phone. Look at this naked woman on my phone. Right? So they're going to get it regardless. So how would
take them out to school?
My question would be to everybody, all the women on the panel, especially the ones that have children, how do we combat that Because even if we take their devices, they're still getting it.
You gotta,
Yeah.
You
Say something. Teach them first.
You gotta be like our parents and our grandparents with the prayer on the way to school, on the bus, when you get back in. And I know I keep saying pray, but when they say train a child up in the way they should go, and when they become older, they won't depart.
That's the
I'm able to say these things because I was raised like this. You know what I mean? So it's instilled in me. And although you're not perfect and you go off on, your past and make mistakes, you still come back to God. God knows his children. His children knows him as well. So, if you're not instilling that in your children, if you're not, giving them that truth, that knowledge, then anything else is going to perish. You can give them as much information and all that good stuff, but if you're really not giving them the truth and the word, everything else is going to perish. You can give them that stuff, but the truth and the word should be paramount. It should be the most important thing. Yes, the statistics, yes, the numbers, yes, what's going on out in the world. But if you're not, if you're not giving your child that access to the truth, then they're only going to fall victim to whatever everybody else is saying to them, to their friends' parents, to their friends at school. I'll always say that.
Yeah, to combat it.
I want to say this before we go forward. I want to address to Ruth, and then also comment to both Courtney, Michelle, and Mrs. She Said. And so in Ruth's comment saying that, oh, we seem so angry that we've been offended by this. Please, let's not make a mistake. We're not offended by it at all. This is what I just did. The same way that they say, shame on you for being a woman. The same way Mrs. She Said say, shame on y'all for being ignorant females doing stupid stuff. Guess what I'm saying right now? Shame on y'all for having the audacity to come for women. Okay? And so I don't think it's a problem, not one moment, for me to be as petty to say, well, you fussing at us about our milk carrying breast, your dry titty, your dry bosom, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think that there's a problem in me saying that, for me to be so petty and go so low, because it's shameful for you to come for us, but we can't say nothing. I ain't gonna always take the high road and turn the other cheek. I'm a woman of faith, and by all means, I'm still silly too, because he's still working on me, so don't play with me, okay? And then for Tarus to have the audacity to follow back up, okay? I'm still walking my walk. This ain't no destination, this is a journey over here, baby. And he with me. And so for Tarus to follow that up with the next comment, Black man, you go ahead and pull that thing up, talking about which one of us lost somebody. Boy, if you don't go on, you lose. I was going to say something real ugly.
I'll say it, because that rhetoric sounds like someone that likes trans women and trying to defend them.
Let me sip my drink.
The other side of the rainbow, baby. Okay, you want to defend them? Go ahead. There's no problem with being mad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay when you see things that are stripping away from you and your daughter. It's okay to get upset. Black man unfiltered, what did Jesus do when he went to the temple and saw them blaspheme God? What did he do?
He told the place up.
Right. Y'all better quit acting like y'all some Christians and y'all don't fight back. You are fighters. God said put on the armor of God. You put on the armor. You're an army of the Lord.
I got a breastplate over here for my breasts that have milk.
You fight for your kids. You fight for your husband. You fight for your family. You fight for your culture. I'm so tired of us sitting here so nonchalant. God didn't make us that way. We were warriors back then, and we're warriors now, and it's okay to be. Yeah, I'm mad. Yeah, I'm pissed. Come from me and mine, you gonna get dealt with. Come in my house, you gonna get dealt with. Someone come in my house, you think I'm sorry, I don't mean for you. No, they're gonna get this 4-5. You fight for yours. What
the thing is that they always think it's all love. In that community, love is love. No. God is judgment. That's the fire and brimstone that nobody wants, and that's why they formulate their own churches. They formulate their own lanes because they don't want to.
My children are worth fighting for. I'm dying for my child. I'm not sitting back nonchalant while they trying to indoctrinate her. It's the bullshit. I fight for my community. I fight for my family. I die for mine.
I just don't understand why. I just don't understand why that was. I just don't understand why that was said. It's like, what? We don't have the right to be mad. We don't have the right to say whatever we want to say. They doing it. Why can't we?
Right.
And no, we're not. We don't feel threatened. I don't feel threatened.
Miss She said has
you're
a
trying to
go
be
ahead.
us.
Go ahead and finish.
You will never be us. They're calling us all of these names. Talking about breast, what is it, chest feeder and whatever else. It's like you're mad, you're upset, you're trying to get all of these surgeries to be us, but you are mad. You go, okay, go on and have a baby, go on and breastfeed, go on and have a period.
Who got children?
I'll sit here and I'll wait.
Who got children on this panel?
Me.
You ain't gonna die for your kids?
You know I will.
I teach my kids how to clap back. Now I got too many children to die for one now. So I got some limitations over here. I'm gonna be real honest as a parent. I have limitations over here. You know.
So let me ask Miss She said she had an excellent solution about homeschooling, and she said they even have a Facebook group where they homeschool when they're homeschooling their children. So Ms. She says, tell us a little bit about that, and then we're gonna get into the medical perspective of what the doctors are saying about this situation right after you. Go ahead.
I mean, shoot, our oldest is 28, 23, almost 18, and almost 9. So, they've all went through, graduated public school, first 2 college, third one is taking the chill pill. But this last one, pandemic, first grade, yeah, you ain't going back. It was a done deal.
Right.
Because I watched first halfway through with them online trying to learn. I had to be the teacher. I had to step in a lot. And, they didn't like it. And I was trying to forbid me to be in the camera and all this nonsense. So, I said, okay, well, I'm going to look into homeschooling. And I did it legally. So we've been homeschooling, and Madison's about to go to 4th grade. So it's been 3 grades we've been in thus far. But again, we've had over 25 years of practice. I got a degree in early childhood education. I've worked with the ARC for 8-9 years with people with developmental disabilities, from total care to high functional, living on their own. So, I've just been in that life, PTA, for years, and to get in this last child, and there is no excitement from the parents, no excitement from the women, even with my excitement. Y'all see how bubbly I am. So when I'm at school with the kids and then trying to get them involved, and I see no involvement, but we're still involved with the community and the school, but Madison just doesn't attend the public school anymore. It's doable. And I think we just have the mindset of that indoctrination of running our home like school. Nah. Especially for little people, first grade, 2 hours. Hardcore learning, and then you have all types of activity. Every day is learning, because you're mending the house, you're learning to cook, you're learning to measure, you're learning laundry, to be independent, do your own hair. Like, it's so many things to be learning. All types of Black education that they're not going to get in school, the real education, because they're first grade, they thrusting them in slavery. Oh, it's going to be in there. And the way they give it to them is ridiculous. So, just knowing all of that and trying to get really prepared. And right now, that's what I'm doing next couple of weeks, preparing for 4th grade. And it's not easy. It's not. I usually have to, the day before, look at some videos to remind myself, because we all have it in there, right? But just remind myself of the activity that's going to be in front of us. So I don't look, but I'll let them know. They like to hear that. Mommy forgot. We're going to learn this together. Learning languages, field trips, all of that stuff you can do online, because that's what they're doing. The kids are not even learning to write.
Yes, that's true.
So
we're over there on Facebook, and if you follow me, check it out. I'm willing to give any tips or strategies or anything for anybody.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. I appreciate that, Miss She said. All right, here we go, guys. I want y'all to break this down. And then after this, we'll get out of here for tonight. But I want y'all to break this down for me. All right, here we go.
and I have a medical degree from University of Connecticut, residency, University of Utah Pediatrics, and I've worked for a number of different Planned Parenthoods for 20 years. I do advanced contraception and abortion, as well as gender hormones, and sort of looking at the whole sort of schema of gender, sex, and reproductive justice.
So you've done a lot of work in this field. Could you just start by telling us?
Sure.
At what age can a child first begin to transition into another gender or identify themselves as a gender different from how they were born?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's research and data that show that babies and infants understand differences in gender. Some children figure out their gender really early, and the reason why we say, oh, it's interesting or important is because they're figuring out their gender identity is not necessarily congruent with their sex assigned at birth.
When the doctor sees the penis and says, this is a male, has the sex of male, that's an arbitrary distinction?
Telling that family, based on that little penis, that your child is absolutely 100% male identified, no matter what else occurs.
So what are your thoughts so far?
Oh my gosh, she's part of the problem.
I'm scared about what you're about to say.
Bullshit.
Yeah, the fact that guy says, so based upon the doctor seeing this arbitrary penis, they're identified as male. Arbitrary means based on random choice or personal whim. Ain't no dinky, no personal choice, or no whim.
So are they? So my thing is, would she say the same thing talking about a vagina? What? How can you tell me there's a difference according to this chick? She talking about this little penis. Okay, so you're gonna give the same energy if it's a vagina?
They call it sex assigned at birth.
And
but we all know we get
female.
ultrasounds way before that.
Right.
Say again, wife school.
I said it's called sex assigned at birth. So like when they come out, whatever possibly the parents can, manipulate stuff. And also, but we also know the sex of a child way before that by ultrasounds.
Right.
My Lord. Okay.
Man, I've been trying to hold my mule for a long time about this.
Give me the reins. Give me the reins.
Look, I'm trying. I was talking to Black Man earlier, and I told him, I was like, I'm trying to be cool now, but they throwing all these words around. You know what? Y'all can have vagina. Y'all can have that. Y'all can be minus bonus hole people. I don't care, but there's this artist named Jimmy, right? And Jimmy said that it's a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a little girl. That's what he said. And you know
I thought
why
that was James Brown.
Right.
Yeah, she talking about Jimmy.
Jimmy
Yeah.
James.
Jimmy James. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. This me. That was a slow moment for me. This me like, wait a minute.
It's okay. It's okay. I like calling him Jimmy. But I was young hearing the song and I didn't understand what Jimmy meant by it wouldn't be nothing. And then you get older as an adult and you understand, and I hear other people talking. There's this other poet, his name is Devin the Dude. And he talks about
Devin the Dude.
You feel me? And he talks about the power of the PUSSY. So you can have vagina.
Jay-Z did that too, baby.
Cause I got the PUSSY. There's songs made about the PUSSY. There ain't songs about a bonus hole. There ain't songs about a vagina. There's barely songs about D. But there's a lot of songs about that. Sure, and you can have that. You can have vagina, whatever you want, because I have the power, which you would never have. You would never have. I send my man to sex and I'll be like, oh, babe, come get this PUSSY. It's gonna hit him different than me saying, oh, babe, come get this bonus hoe.
Come Come get this hole. Come
Can
get
we have a small player?
Come on, get this.
I just want to say this also because I think it's Al B put it in the chat saying that she's alluding to. Hold on, let me go back up to where he said
But
it.
since they don't even call it vagina, they call it boy pussy.
And so that she
They call it
pussy.
Pussy.
Pussy. So I'm not doing that. So she's
Miss She said, I'm not dealing with you tonight.
Albie said she's alluding to hermaphrodite. That's born, identifying sex when a child is born. But like one of the women said just a few moments ago, ultrasounds are conducted while the child is in the womb. And granted, true enough, that once that child come out the womb, sometimes there is a clear distinction of a dinky and of a JJ. I'm gonna try to clean it up just a little bit. Dick and pussy. Okay, I didn't. So there's a clear distinction between the two, right? Hermaphrodite. Yes, there is a such thing. And yes, some of those individuals are born with both parts, so to speak. One part is more heightened than the other. And y'all can see it and go look it up. And somebody showed me a video one time and I liked it through the phone where a woman, and she was fully created as a woman. However, her clitoris was so enlarged that yes, it looks like a small dinky. Yeah. But that thing ain't hung like a house. Like the men's as I know. But I've seen a man, we've seen several men, we done seen dinkies before. Now we ain't gonna act like we ain't never seen one. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what she said.
And just to elaborate on what sis is saying, those hermaphrodites, they are intersex, and they are born 1 in 1,000, just like a redhead. But that's natural, and it's never the same.
It's natural. It's never the same.
I had a client. I had a consumer. Working in the ARC. So I absolutely had a consumer, but I didn't know, right? So the first time I had to care for this gentleman, big, looked like a linebacker, total care, didn't talk, tubes and everything. So there was no, interaction, full wheelchair care. So the first time I had to care for them, getting them together, it was my opportunity. And I'm like, why would nobody say anything to me? Because this is y'all got him dressed as a man, like a full-on lumberjack.
Did you get the surprise?
Absolutely, I got the
Oh, it was a
surprise.
woman.
Like you said, it was right, and it was a fully functioning vagina, but there was a penis attached. But it wasn't big, But yeah, and when I asked the question, this is when the head nurse, wanted to have the conversation with me. I'm like, why is that not something you would express or let me know?
Was the penis functional?
It was functional, and the vagina was functional. Now I'm not sure if he had fully functioning ovaries inside. So there is a documentary on YouTube called Intersection. And if you ever wanted any information about this, and this is actually biological and it's science, it's not somebody pretending to be something. It is the confusion at birth, and the parents have to sit there and decide. Now these people should actually wait till the child gets older and let the child's identity come out on its own. Right. So this will give you some insight to the people who've done this 30, 40, 50 years ago, and now they are living in the decision that their parent made, which was the wrong decision. So
Wow.
Can I say something and talk about
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm actually about to drop something. And I don't know if you guys know who John Money is. But John Money was the father of gender ideology. He's the one that created gender roles and the whole idea of what gender is. And he did an experiment on twin boys because one of the boys, his name was Bruce Reamer. At 22 months, he was having a circumcision, but unfortunately, the circumcision burned his whole penis off. So y'all know the story.
Damn.
So, everything. So what the doctor decided to do is, well, let's just raise him as a girl.
Yes.
And so at 22 months, again, they raised him as a girl and dressed everything as a girl. And he had no idea, but there was always something wrong with him. And he had no idea, and always going through problems, and had no idea that he was a boy. Until one day his mom figured out that he was a boy, and he was like, "That's been what's wrong with me. I've never felt connected to this womanhood that you're trying to make me out to be." He changed his name. His name is Bruce. Changed his name to David. Unfortunately, got on drugs. His other twin got on drugs because of his twin or whatever, and they both committed. They ended their lives.
Yeah.
Because they was being raised as something that they were never naturally were. And he didn't even know it. And they started at 22 months. And now you see the girl Jazz. And, she was the first transgender girl that was publicized on TLC. Now you see Jazz right now. She's about 100 pounds overweight. And now she's crying, saying, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't feel like I'm supposed to be this. I have no idea." And she's taking it out on food, trying to have sex with men. She's had 4 different surgeries because she got her little penis cut off, and had 4 different surgeries because it won't ever heal, because again, it's a sore. And she's bawling, crying, because this is not who I am.
Yeah.
We are mutilating our children.
Painfully.
And that is the problem again, and it's attack on our children. And from those examples, from them twin boys to Jazz, you can see, and there's so many stories of girls and men detransitioning that no one wants to talk about.
Right.
Doctors, and they're suing their doctors because you told me I could transition at 13, and now that I'm 18 and I don't want to be this no more. I want to be my regular self. I should have known better, but you were making me transition at 13, and I had no idea because I'm a child.
Don't they usually go through the psychological testing to do it? Because I had someone at my job who was transitioning, and he had to take off for like a month and a half or whatever, but that was for like a psychological evaluation before he did any surgery.
It's not a long period of time, so
and it's not long enough. Yeah.
No, they told me, they say, I went to counseling for about a month before I got transitioned over.
That's not enough. It's not enough. I wanted to make a comment if I could, and I wanted to go back to whoever that guy was, Tarus, and what he was saying. I personally am not angry. I understand those that may have some anger about that. I mostly am sad about this whole thing. I am sad for this group of people. I feel sad that someone could not be rooted and grounded in who they are, that you are so confused that you want to flip-flop sexes and you want to have your organs, as we said, mutilated and cut off and tucked, and you got to do all these things to be something that you were never born to be. The Bible says we were fearfully and wonderfully made. We were knitted in our mother's womb. What you were born is exactly what God intended for you to be. Whether that was male or female, that's what you were supposed to be. And it's sad that there's something going on with you spiritually and mentally where you can't accept that, where you can't live in that. So you got to go through all of these changes, the mental, the physical, and the political, and all of these things to be something that you're not. And like just Courtney said, and then a lot of times, I think it's a 12% rate or something, the ones that do have the changes, and then they discover that's not what they want to be. It's like, that is sad. It really is sad.
But
that this group of people are going through this. We're not angry, with you or whatever, but we're not going to allow you to be disrespectful to natural women. We are not going to allow you to take over our children and our schools and everything with that. But for you as individuals, we're sad for you because you really don't know who you are. You got some really deeper seated issues than changing your sexuality.
But Miss Anissa, it's like God, even though He made us, He loves us, He has intentions for us, He also gave us free will.
Absolutely.
Okay? So in Romans, it talks about how men left the natural use for a woman.
A woman.
So it's like, it's there. It's all written. But he said, since you want to do these things, since you want to define me, my eyes are everywhere. Go ahead, do what you want to do. I'm going to turn you over to that reprobate. And when you go reprobate, there's just no limits to what a person
and that's what we're seeing.
And that's what we're seeing manifest in our life, because spiritually something has transacted to a physical now, which we see. It's something that we can't necessarily fight, but we can speak on it. We can speak on it by referring back to God, because now it takes it off of us and we're saying, well, this is what he said. I'm just saying what he said. So if you got a problem, take it up with him. Take it up with the person that made you. So it's not so much that judgmental part. It's that judgment's going to be on God. So, but he's still not going to twist anybody's arm to make them do anything. Go ahead, be reprobate, get your surgeries, transition. Okay, now you have infections. Now this, the unaliving is happening. Now there's certain things that are transacting because you wanted to make that choice, but I gave you have full right to do it. So you have to reap what you sow. And if it's negative, then that's just how it is, because you made that choice. And so, like, what can we do at that point?
So I saw this little cartoon thing on Facebook, and I shared it with a couple of my friends, and I had them laughing because it was like a demon at the gates of heaven. And you see the angel sitting there like this, and he's like, the demon's like, but I identify as an angel. And he's like, nah, we don't play that up here.
But that's exactly how it is, though. That's exactly how it is. You can't identify something that's not.
I want to play this second part because I know a lot of people haven't seen. I know that Courtney's seen this before because she did a show
in their life. That's not correct.
So what is gender affirmation care? You're a big proponent of. If we walk through, a child is sitting down with you, is questioning their gender. What's the gender affirmation process?
Affirmation means that as a pediatrician, as someone who says my job is to provide the best medical care for you, is I need to listen really carefully. And how I put it in words for kids so that they can understand it is, tell me your story. Where have you been in terms of your gender and your gender identity? Where are you right now? And more excitingly, where would you like to be in the future?
Have you ever met a 4-year-old who believes in Santa Claus? So this is someone who believes that a fat man is traveling through the sky on a flying reindeer at lightning speed, coming down his chimney with presents.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is someone who maybe has a tenuous grasp on reality?
They have an appropriate 4-year-old handle on the reality that's very real for them.
Agreed. But Santa Claus is real for them, but Santa Claus is not actually real.
Yeah, well, but Santa Claus does deliver their Christmas presents.
Well, yeah, but he's not real, though.
To that child, they are.
When I see a child who, believes in Santa Claus, and then let's say this is a boy and he says, I'm a girl. This is someone who can't distinguish between fantasy and reality, so how could you take that as a reality?
I would say that as a pediatrician and as a parent, I would say how wonderful my 4-year-old and their imagination is.
Male gametes. That's what makes me male.
No, your sperm don't make you male.
Then what does?
Wow. It's a constellation.
In reality, in truth, okay?
Whose truth are we talking about?
The same truth that says we're sitting in this room right now, you and I.
No, you're not listening.
If I see a chicken laying eggs and I say that's a female chicken laying eggs, did I assign female, or am I just observing a physical reality that's happening in the world?
Does a chicken have gender identity? Does a chicken cry?
Well,
Does a chicken commit suicide? Let's
What does that have to do
frame
with-
it, because you're trying
A chicken has sex like any biological
chicken has
organism.
an assigned gender, but a chicken doesn't have a gender identity.
So we assign female to chickens when they lay eggs?
We assume they're female if they lay eggs.
At what age does the medical transition begin?
Man, listen.
I'll stop it there. Ladies, go ahead.
She is definitely part of the problem. She needs to be seeing someone for her mental health, and that is a daggone shame that she is a pediatrician treating our children. She's a problem, and any other doctor like her is a problem. That's the problem. our future, our kids are our future, we are in trouble. We're in deep trouble.
For the people in the chat that don't know who she is, she's a pediatrician. She helps with children.
In here in Nashville, in my state.
Oh.
She's here.
Girl, y'all got some
And
over there.
But you don't think we ain't fighting mad?
Yeah, I can see why you fighting
I
mad
can see
now.
why you mad.
CBS said
just
a little bit
hearing
of hair
her
dye
talk
done
was
leaked
hurting
into
my
her head.
head. It was
A
just
little blue hair dye got in there.
Yeah,
There's no straight
even the doctors now are asking the children when they come. I'm serious. I just took my 16-year-old son for his physical for football, and I took him in, and I heard a man say this in text. I was like, he got the wrong doctor. When my son walked in, they asked him, "Do you want him to stay in? Do you want him to leave?" I said, "I'm staying in. He ain't got no choice."
That's what they do.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm staying in."
I stay right there.
And she looked back at him like he's the decision maker. No, I'm his daddy, right? And then she said, "Well, I want to be respectful. Would you like me to call you male, female, they, them, any pronouns you would like me to use?" I say his name Jabari. He's a boy, and when you check his balls and he cough, you'll know he's a male. He's not going to be subject to that.
They are being
Period. Point blank. Ran me hot. And I'm
And the reason why is because somebody said it earlier. For those who don't, if you offend somebody, those individuals cause the biggest stink to your business practice. And so that's what they're trying to prevent from happening.
Oh, no.
Well, but in the medical field, it's really, iffy. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes there's a race issue, or you didn't treat me the right way, or the maternal Black women are dying, or I can see this is a race thing, And then now you have, the community. And now if somebody isn't used to that, now say if I'm just a Christian doctor and I see like she said when she saw something, she's like, well, I was taken back. That was a surprise. So that person's like, well, why are they acting like that? I'm being discriminated against. Why can't you just see me? And like the guy said, use a speculum down there. What? For what? On what? So it's like now they'll use the medical field to verify, like she said, this doctor, Mr. Money, to verify and to solidify these feelings, these actions, these thoughts, and to make you, the common person, look stupid because it's backed by quote unquote science and medicine.
It's the fact that she had the audacity to tell this gentleman that's interviewing her that Santa Claus, and for a child to say that Santa Claus is real, that's a typical, she called it an appropriate 4-year-old mind, pretty much. That's appropriate for a 4-year-old to think Santa Claus is real. And so when he asked the question,
like adults, we don't have to raise our children like that. That's
right.
They
But
can still have the idea of Santa Claus and teach them that it's a fantasy, and Daddy and Mommy buys all the gifts.
But here's what she turned around and do. Mrs. She said this is what she turned around and did when he asked about the gender of the same 4-year-old. How does that 4-year-old? What did she say? Right off top. That kid knows. That's the reality. That's the reality. You know exactly. That child know exactly what they identify as at 4, but they can't tell that Santa Claus isn't. Like, come on, man.
Right. And you know what bothers me, guys? I want to say this, then we'll get back to the video. What bothers me is when she said the kid can tell their sex at 3 years old, or did she say infant? Did she say 3 months?
I think she said infants. Most infants and babies can identify their
These kids, listen, I got children. My damn kids don't know where their shoes at. They don't know what kind of cereal they want to eat. And you mean tell me, and that's at 3 months, 3 years, 4 years, 15 years, 16 years old. They don't know what the hell they want. And you mean to tell me, you know what bothers me?
Confused.
That the scientists will say your brain ain't developed till you're 26, but a 3-month-old can make a decision on their sex. Okay.
Well, kids do explore their sexuality. Excuse me. Kids do explore their sexuality when they're younger. I mean, any teacher or doctor will tell you that a child will explore their, nether regions or whatever. But to actually identify with a certain gender, I've never heard of that at such a young age.
Yeah, like a baby gonna say no dick. No dick. No dick. No dick. No, they're not doing it.
Well, any parent knows that your child, if you have a boy or girl, they might touch because it's random.
Right.
You know, it's just a child exploring themselves, not sexuality. They have no clue what's going on. They're exploring their body and don't know this feels different because they're kids. Yeah. But there's a particular idea, and you hear people say, I was born this way. But that came from something.
Yes, because how are you born gay? There's a lot of stuff where I just need to sit in a class, because how are you born this way? I don't understand where that thought process comes from.
Well, let me give you one.
Accountability.
I will tell you.
Let me give you one. Somebody said,
accountability.
Yeah, somebody said this to me before. I'm gonna give this to y'all. I'm gonna pour it in your cup. Hope you drink it. Here we go. Somebody told me one time a person can be born gay. I said, how is that? He said that he's gay. He said a person can be born gay. He said, how can you sit up here and say that that God can't make a person be born gay? He said when people are born with cancer, people are born with one eye, people are born blind, people are born with dyslexia, people are born with AIDS, people are born with 3 fingers on one hand. So if all that can happen, why can't the DNA in a person also?
So he's acknowledging that he has a disease. Okay, I'm muting myself.
You took the words right out of my mouth. How I responded, just like that.
Well, I mean, sexuality is a behavior,
right?
You know, but however, that idea of being born this way was from another man.
Mm-hmm. And like Courtney said, she's right. This guy.
Do you know who his name was?
How are you going to explore the sexuality of a child? You got to do some things.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Well, let me tell you. I'm sorry. But
his name is Kinsey.
Yes, Alfred Kinsey.
His name is Alfred Kinsey.
And he's horrible.
He was a pedophile.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So what he did was go to prisons and talk to pedophilic men or whatever, and then he had a little buddy that molested over 800 girls and little boys.
Damn.
And he recorded it.
He's still alive?
He's dead. This is back in the 40s.
Okay.
And he recorded from 2 months old to 15 years old.
Yes.
How many times those kids got molested and how many times had orgasms.
Yes.
Now, the idea of them having orgasms was them screaming, twitching, biting, screaming. He said those were their orgasms. Now, mind you, in Indiana, there's still the Kinsey Institute. So there's still a building. There is still a monument after his name. Indiana only this year stopped funding them because it was government funded.
Thank God.
Like I said, this shit is sick.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back a long way. So these ideas
got one here in Baltimore City.
formulated.
Oh my God.
These are formulated by sick individuals, and now we're acting like this is normal.
Mm-hmm. It's scientific. It's medicine.
So let me
It's about money.
Right. It is. I was just about to say
about
that
money. They're forever customers, forever parents, forever going to therapists. Therapists always got 6 months of their kids coming in every week just to build their head up.
Big pharma. Yep. Pharmaceutical companies getting richer by the medicine with the medicines that they have to maintain that lifestyle. You know,
That's the great American way.
Yep. So here we go, guys. Let's finish up.
Medication.
So medical affirmation begins when the patient says they're ready for it. So that could be a kiddo who is just starting puberty and panicking because they're getting breast buds or their penis is getting bigger and busier and they're worried about all kinds of masculine changes. And that way, puberty blockers, which are completely reversible and don't have permanent effects, are wonderful because we can put that pause on puberty. Just like if you were listening to music, you put the pause on and we stop the blockers and puberty would go right back to where it was. The next note in the song just delayed that period of time.
One of the drugs used is Lupron, right? Which has actually been used to chemically castrate sex offenders.
You know what? I'm not sure that we should continue with this interview because it seems like it's going in a particular direction.
Well, you're a medical professional.
I am a medical professional.
So you don't want to talk about the drugs that you give to kids or?
Again, I'm a physician and I use medication. You're
This is so
choosing exploitive
classic.
words. Drugs, I give to kids.
I'm choosing a
Chemical
word that was
castration.
in the dictionary.
That's not a correct term for puberty blocking.
I could like look it up on my phone, but I'm pretty sure if I looked it up, like,
You can look it up on your phone.
it says medical definition: the administration of a drug to bring about a marked reduction in the body's production of androgens and especially testosterone.
And I'm saying, as a pediatrician who takes care of hundreds of these kids, when you use that terminology, you are being malignant and harmful.
I mean, there are some who would say that giving chemical castration drugs to kids is malignant and harmful.
It's about the context of caring for a child and seeing the suffering that kids can have that have not been in affirmative home situations.
So we're going on this journey. Boys can be girls, girls can be boys, men can be women, women can be men. It makes me wonder, what is a woman?
What is a woman? A woman is someone who claims that as their identity. It could be many things to many people. My name is Michelle.
That's the end of it, guys.
It's like, okay, well, what are you then? What the hell are you? What are you?
An agent.
What are you? I wanted him to ask her that. Okay,
Did
well, what
y'all
are
hear
you?
what this? Can y'all please break this thing down? What this woman just said. It is
A bunch of bull crap. That's what she said.
this. You're giving kids medicine that they use for sex offenders to castrate sex offenders.
Messing them
The parents wouldn't understand that.
You're giving it to
They know
children.
that. Chemically, pharmacists know certain things, what it does and reacts in the body. But me and you, they'll just come out with a pamphlet. Here's a waiver. So we have your permission.
Say
to do.
it.
We
Say
don't
it.
know those terminologies. We don't know what reactions pharmaceuticals can do to anyone.
It's amazing. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, Miss Mo. We'll start with Miss Mo and go around the room. Go ahead.
They are messing up our kids. I mean, I'm just trying to get all the word. I'm just trying to get words together. I'm just kind of all over the place right now.
It makes your head.
That lady really got me going. She's a case. She's a case. They should do a case study on her because she is messing up our kids. You ain't supposed to give no kids no kind of drugs like that because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You don't block puberty. You don't do that. You're messing up them kids.
And okay, so we'll go to Miss She Said. What are your thoughts on this foolery?
Oh man, I agree with y'all. It's a shame that they don't talk about the side effects because, of course, with anything you put in your body from a pharmaceutical, has some side effects to it. I mean, and the parents who allow this to happen without doing all that research to even look for people who are in the process of detransitioning, the effects of the mastectomy, like the drainage, like it is a lot. It is a whole process, and the parents have to start reflecting on themselves when it comes to the children, right? We drop them off in some therapists every week instead of spending time with them and building with them. We're absent. We're not around. They don't come on. The electronics, the devices, it's a lot. So, but that lady is crazy. And it's a lot of pediatricians and therapists out there. So, be mindful. We all need each other building. So we have sisters who we don't want to build with each other. And, I don't want to tell you my business because shame on me because I know I'm not doing something right with my kids, but I'm going to take them to this therapist and the therapist going to say, you know what? They might want to be a boy or a girl. Let's go that route. And now you have to accept my child. And again, no more shaming. It's just a whole bad cycle, but it's all about money and sterilizing the youth so we can use their birthing centers.
Alexis from Texas. What are your thoughts?
That lady crazier than a road lizard. I don't know what she was talking about, and if anybody else seen that video, and they might have had her as a pediatrician, if you didn't cut her off right then and there, like you need some help. Like I don't like my son, and I'm a mother that's proud that my son does this. Like he's straight, like he'll tell you something real quick. He's like, I'm a boy. That's for girls. And he just turned 4 Saturday. But he will let you know, I'm a boy. I don't that's for girls. And so how did obviously, yeah, to some extent, if you want to be like, they can know their identity or whatever, but that's again me and his father setting him up saying, oh no, you are a boy, we do these things, we do this type of thing. I'm not the type, I don't care about a dude wearing pink or whatever, because I don't think that actually represents your masculinity. But at the same time, like, come on, let's call the spade a spade. You over here talking about you're using a language that's, they always jump to that language thing. They always jump to the language thing, but then y'all can say the certain type of stuff, and I'm just not supposed to be offended. Your language, calling me a sis, that's I feel like that's like sexual slander in the way you calling me a sis, but I'm supposed to be cool with it, right? That's you changing everything as far as breastfeeders and all, feeding people and all this stuff, but I'm not supposed to be offended. I'm supposed to be cool about it. And then you put this crazier than a fish with titties woman on here trying to tell me that my people, my kids, they know at the age when they babies. Come on now, where your mama at? Where her parents?
Yeah, she's kind of thrown off. And this, what are your? I don't even have words. I just go ahead on this. I don't have words. You're muted, sweetheart. You're muted.
Well, as far as this lady, I think it just shows how you have to be careful of what you listen to, and you sure enough better be careful about who you send your kids to as far as therapy or something, because if you're not rooted and grounded in yourself, all that stuff she was talking can have somebody really messed up, you know. So imagine sending a child who's not mature enough emotionally and all that, who's probably struggling or already having issues, and you send them to some nutcase like that. They can have their mind all twisted and turned around and have them believing. It's just, you know, but, you know, I can see through that, but I can easily see how, you know, kids and people who are struggling in these areas can really be convinced to, you know, probably do things that they, you know, it's just crazy. I just couldn't even listen to her anymore. But this isn't going anywhere, unfortunately. Again, it's going to take boldness in so many areas to fight this. I was reading somewhere, and just to see how, you know, things start small and they have just escalated, that there are now these things called furries, you know, people who identify as cats now, and you have people that are identifying it's just really.
And you know what? There's laws that are accepting the fact that people. So that's the thing. So if I go whoop somebody's ass, and I go to jail, and they say, you know what, black man, you're guilty, I'm gonna say, Your Honor, I identify as innocent. Let me up out this motherfucker. Because that's what it's going to. That's what it's getting.
You identify as Mayweather, you know?
I identify as innocent. I'm out. Right. And so it's getting to that point. Last week on the barbershop, I had the guys laughing because I played a preacher in Alabama who stood in front of the city council and told them that it's amazing that there were grown men that wear size 13, 14 shoes out there in front of babies kissing each other's in the mouth for the Pride weekend. He said, you know, we're the preachers. I guess everybody gonna have to stop giving offerings for us to stand 10 toes down against what's happening in front of our babies. He said kids were running around out there, men were just kissing each other in the mouth, women kissing each other in the mouth in front of babies, 6, 7, 8 years old. They just out there just half naked, you know, women got their breasts out, men got their balls hanging all out. I mean, he told them, he said, how is this possible to do this in front of children? And he said, I know y'all made a lot of money for the city. He said, but I know who else made a lot of money, Duracell. I went to go get batteries for my radio and they was out. He said, I don't know what they did with the Duracell batteries. He said, but there were no more Duracell batteries, right?
Was this during Gay Pride?
It was during Pride Month, yes. And he was pissed. He was like, I can't believe that the city would be okay with this, seeing those babies running around, watching this stuff happen. He said the kids were just running around just running around, people. Dudes out there naked, got their underwear on, just just women out there, breasts all out.
That's the parents.
I was gonna say that's parents.
Parents, money, political. Parents, money, political.
But why isn't that child abuse? Because if I take my 8-year-old son and sit him in front of my TV in the living room and say, watch this corn and watch how this woman flip that thing over, that's child abuse, right?
Yeah.
So why isn't it child abuse for those kids to be out there watching these people damn near have sex?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Nobody's saying anything. But we'll go to the Wife School podcast. Go ahead, sweetheart.
I think I'm so sorry. I think that this pediatrician, this doctor, and what the community tries to do is to be this all-inclusive thing, to be this affirmation-based thing, because affirmations, you can pump yourself all day, you can lie to yourself all day long. That's what she was doing. She said, we're not in this room. Are we really in this room? Is this reality? It's like, okay, you shut up. Yeah. But it's that affirmation. Oh, you can't be wrong. The customer's always right. Okay, okay, so you want it that way. Okay, well then what color? To make it a truth, to make your whatever a reality, and not really like they take the Hippocratic oath. Well, probably that changed now. Who knows? To do no harm, but for the sake of not hurting a person's feelings or saying, hey, wait some time or whatever. Now they move the goalpost to, oh, they have the absolute knowledge of their sexuality or their gender. No, they don't. Like he said, like this with the Santa Claus issue, they think it's real. Yes, it is real. Okay. So it's so bad, it's so mixed up, and like they just totally destroyed reality and are basing everything on delusions, feelings, and feelings change. As we know, people detransition and they speak out, but you don't really hear it. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear it because it is a commodity. Pride or that community is a commodity. There's flags to be had. There's parades to be had. There's deals with Bud Light. There's deals with certain influencers to really push this agenda of acceptance. And so it's really bad. It's really bad. It's shameful. But I mean, I don't know. We can try to fight.
But you know what's crazy? You remember when Courtney said earlier that everybody must take a stand?
Yeah.
When they went to Target with that shit.
Yeah.
And they put all that stuff, putting baby onesies out there with all the gay stuff on it. No white women said, "Oh no, not our babies." And Target lost $1 billion in a week and a half. The next day,
Miller Lite.
You can go right on over to Walmart.
Next day, all Target took all them clothes out. They said, "No, we're not taking no hit like that." But like when they put that he/she on that damn can. And the white men said, "We're not going to be turning up no can at the college game with no man." No, with no man.
Hank wasn't going for it. No, Hank.
No, you turning up the dude and his face right in your face. them white men said, "Hell no," and they lost money. And they took that man off the can. They took him off. So they stood for something. So, but go ahead, Real Precious.
Gotta stand.
It's a lot of confusion, and the devil knows that he can get us if he gets our children. When she said it was a couple of times in her interactions with the interviewer. One, she wanted to stop the interview when he was asking convicting questions that would, have her in a place where she had to give a direct answer. So there, when someone wants to stop a conversation where truth can't enter the chat, you already know that there's an agenda. Right. Two, when she mentioned Santa Claus and said, well, it's whatever you want it to be. It's whatever. It's this fluidity of you can just do whatever you want to do with no consequences. Parents don't have to be involved. It's however you feel. It's whatever you want. It's like this utopia or like this, far away land that, you want these children to be in, so separate from their parents and what we know is real and what we know is true. And And then when he asked her the question about, what is a woman? And if it's, oh, well, whoever identifies as a woman. So it's so much of, it reminds me of just this the garden story. The devil's job is to confuse. It's to confuse you. And they can't confuse us because we clearly know that we're woman. We clearly know that cis is a word that they threw in there to try to separate or organize certain people. So they can't confuse us, but they can definitely confuse the children and getting them to, like you said, you're going to these appointments and over again, you're being coerced to feel like you can just live in this world, and in a whole different world all by yourself, and you can define what it is instead of just growing up in the real world and your parents raising you and bringing you up like everybody else was raised and brought up. So to me, it's confusion, and God is not the author of confusion. So, if it takes standing up and actually get, I must say, I'm very ignorant to a lot of the vocabulary, a lot of the education surrounding it, because I'm like, well, I'm a real woman, so
You're not by yourself.
I'm not going to,
Mhm.
really look into it, but we have to, because it's not going anywhere and it's going to get worse. And for those of us who do have children, we have to know what's going on in the schools, for them to do a drag queen hour and things like that in your public library. Like, to me, that's great. Like, I don't hear about those things where I live at. I don't, those things aren't as in your face as they are in other states.
Right.
So that's why I keep a low, profile on it as well. But that doesn't take away from the internet, the what's being seen on mobile devices and things like that. So we do have to be educated. I don't think it's like Mrs. She said earlier, I'm not going to get in a ruckus because these people are throwing around insults and, like, I know who I am. So you're not going to make me mad because you calling me, you saying I got a bonus hole or a front hole. I know what I got. So that doesn't make me mad.
Right.
It just makes you look foolish because now you want to tell me who I am,
Funny.
and that ain't happening. So at this point, it's just you can see the agenda, you can see what they're pushing, and as women, we know who we are. I think if we collectively, were to come together and control our emotions, because you know how we can get a little crazy. But be able to, be educated and be a united front and just say, hey, we're not going to stand for this. But like I said, there must be certain areas where it's, more in your face than other areas. And I can understand why those people are in an uproar, especially having children so young. I mean, first grade, second grade, having that in your child's face is hurtful. I think Miss or I'm sorry, Miss Anissa said it. It's hurtful because you see it and you feel like you can't really control what's going on, and you don't know who's pulling the strings, but you know what's going on. So we definitely have to just have a tighter reins on our children. I remember back in the day, my parents had parental controls on everything. We
Right.
didn't even have access to that. I tell this story all the time. We didn't even have access to certain things, and I don't think that's implemented in today's society. Just because it's like, oh, well, you're not going to watch it in this house, but I know when you step outside of this house that you do have access to it somewhere, and with children, you do try to have that balance where it's like, all right, you don't want to be too hard on them because you don't want them to rebel, but they do need to know what is right, what is wrong, and what is acceptable in your household too.
Right. I was at Walmart one day with my 14-year-old, and we was walking and a lady had a shirt on, and my daughter said, "Oh, look at Uncle Clifford." I said, how the fuck you know who Uncle Clifford is?
From the paint?
From the paint. She said, Daddy, Uncle Clifford, he be talking about rule number 34. I said, whoa, hell no. I said, where did you watch this? She said, Dad, we on break. The girls be watching it at school. On their phones.
Mm.
And I said, I said, baby, don't watch it no more. Don't watch. She said, Daddy, we done with season 1. I say, baby, don't watch it no more. I need you not to watch that. No, don't you understand? I raised you better than that. She said, Daddy, no, it's like everybody was watching. Like she had her iPad, like sitting up on the thing, and we all on break. We just sit and watch it. We watch an episode a day. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm, oh my Lord, have mercy. So you're right. It doesn't matter if they have it at home or not. A parental controls at home. When they get out there, they're gonna have a friend with a mom and daddy that just don't give a damn and let their kids do anything they want to, and they feeding that to your children. But go ahead.
But I was gonna say maybe the parent, you know, in some instances, the parents are not aware, just like you are not aware.
Man.
You know what I mean?
When
We're not with our kids 24/7.
Yeah, my heart dropped when she said,
of course. Between the teachers and the doctors trying to fill our kids with all of this stuff, it's like that's where the discord comes in. If you don't have a tight rein between the teachers and the doctors, boom, discord.
Queen Smiley, then we get Courtney, Michelle, and then I'm gonna get y'all one little last question, then we're gonna be up out of here. Queen Smiley, what are your thoughts on this foolery?
Can y'all see that?
Hold on.
No, it's blurry.
Let me take my blurry off, and y'all gonna see my bed. I ain't want y'all to see my bed, but I don't even care at this point because at least my room ain't dirty.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Like
that's how I feel.
You've been working on that for a while.
That's how I feel. Mrs. She said, shout out to you. But that's how I feel. To Ruth, I'm pissed. Okay. After listening to this doctor, this pediatrician who's working with these children, with this foolery as, who is that? What's her name?
Take heed to the message.
Take heed to the message. Like take heed was like this foolery.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to take heed, because this is foolery. For you parents who are sitting here, black man, assuming that your children are not at school, doing what kids do at school.
Man.
Shame, shape shifting shame. Because this small population, because it is a small population in reality, but this small population is carrying so much weight because we're turning a blind eye. We're not monitoring our children the way we should do. We're not teaching at home at a very early and young age on what true reality is. It's okay to educate your children at a young, and I'm embarrassed. This is embarrassing. For a woman, and I'm guessing she's a woman, she got blue hair. And she's saying these things. So, but for a woman to sit up here and say the things that this doctor is saying pertaining to the children that's in her care, that parents are trusting for her to provide service to, it's a shame and it's embarrassing. Just shame.
You know what? I'm gonna say this before Courtney goes. You know what?
She said, if you want me to send you this, you can have this note, because this is you all day long. Shame, shape shifting shame for the people who are shape shifting into
goodness gracious
to whatever it is you choose to be. Yes, it's embarrassing.
Let me say this before Courtney goes, and then we'll move on. My thing is, if you want to separate the men from the women, you said the sexes don't exist. For the women that don't believe the sexes exist, just like this foolery woman that was just talking, I want you to get up in the morning, put your clothes on, and I want you to take your daughter to an all-male daycare.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to take them to the one that's ran by men, the men that cook, the men that teach. All men. Drop your daughter off at the all-male daycare. I guarantee you she won't do that. Why? If the sexes don't matter.
Society wouldn't allow some type of facility like that.
Exactly.
There's barely any men in the school.
Exactly. So that's why we separate the men from the women. That's a prime example. You don't want an all men's daycare, but you're okay with this foolery? Go ahead, Courtney Michelle. You muted, Sugarfoot.
Thank you, darling.
Uh-huh.
I think that it is an absolute fool. But I want to say this. I think that when we keep talking about homeschooling, and I think that's a great alternative. But we also have to remember that our kids are going to be in this world, in this society. Homeschooling is not going to block them when they go out and have to deal with this world and them crazy folks that wasn't homeschooled, that are getting indoctrinated. I don't see anything wrong with being mad. I don't see anything being wrong with fighting mad. It's some people that has to take a bold stand. And I personally am willing to take a bold stand because my child has to live in this world. And she got to get out of home. She's going to become an adult. What kind of world do I want her to see in? And I don't want to see a world where they want it to become. Not while I'm still breathing. So I think even when you was talking about Black Men Unfiltered, about people that were fighting and things have been changing, we do have so much power. But I don't know for some reason why we don't want to use it and why we want to be so damn docile and lackadaisical when it comes to how our society and what it's turning into. And I just want to find some fighting ass mamas out there, some fighting ass daddies that's willing to die for ours. Things that a revolution. And that's what it has to be. Because that's when change starts, when you're willing to die for yours. And it's not necessarily a physical death, but no, the Bible talks about bearing your cross. Well, what cross are you willing to die on if it ain't for your kids? Hell, we could go all day what the Bible talks about. The Bible speaks about in the last days, you ain't going to be able to buy nor sell unless you take the mark of the beast. Well, I think it might be a metaphorical thing because your silence is complicit. You're complicit in the bullshit if you don't say nothing. And then you want to talk about the mark of the beast and what's about to happen? No, if you're a Christian woman, you have to start acting on it. And you have to start speaking up. Because we are in the last days. So y'all already know I ain't with the shits. And I ain't got no problem to saying, and I got the smoke for anybody that try to come for me and mine.
Now, this is the last question of the night, and we're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way the world is now, before you answer, just pause for a second. The way the world is now, where do you see what is the world going to look like in 5 years? With the way the world is now, hold your thoughts. I want to get everybody's answer, but before you do, I want you to see this, and this will help you with your answer. Okay, where do you see us in 5 years, especially after you hear this?
Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
At first, I didn't get why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into accepting, caring people, but I see now why you'd have a problem with that.
Just like you, we're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children.
All right. Where are we going to be in 5 years, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, ladies, I'm sorry. Gentlemen in the chat, love y'all. Go ahead. Where are we going to be in 5 years after watching that? Miss Mo, give us your quick answer. We'll go around the room and then we'll end the show for tonight.
Why I had to see that? Why I had to see that?
He said, we'll convert your children.
Oh my God.
He said, we're coming for your children and we're going to convert them. That is called the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus in California.
Is that the name of them people?
Yes, but go ahead.
Yeah, that really hit me the wrong way. I thought the lady pediatrician was bad. That really that really did something to me right there. That's sick. That's evil. Those are all of that is evil. And the devil is a mind. For sure.
Queen smiling.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like I always say, our children are the future, and we are in trouble. Now, I did want to say this before, because you, Man Unfiltered, you said something about talking about surgery, something about a cervix or something. Okay,
a uterus a uterus. What do you call it? Yeah, whatever.
Right. Because my thing is this, and I've been thinking about this for a long time because of all of this that's been going on, and it's, it's a really big thing. Okay, all the transgender stuff. So my thing is this, I've been thinking for a long time, I really believe this, they are definitely working overtime trying to really, no matter whatever surgeries, guinea pigs, whatever they're working on, they are really trying to invent and create the way for men to have babies. They are doing it. They're working overtime. I know that they are, and I put money on it. And if you don't believe that, we disagree. I believe that they're doing that. And
they've already made it.
Yeah, sorry.
They've already made it.
Well,
so Queen Smiley, real quick.
Wow.
My thoughts on this video, when they first started singing, I assumed that they found this commercial the same place you found that commercial on one of your previous shows. I can't remember how ridiculous that commercial was, but it was a video. I can't remember what it was, but it cracked me up the other Tuesday I was on. But yeah, part of me feel like because of the reaction that we give this type of community, they do things like this because they know we'll be triggered by it to get this reaction, because this community is very theatrical. Now, is it truth in what they're saying? Yes, some of those individuals are coming for our children, but I think they go this far to be so theatrical because they're waiting on that reaction. So yeah, it's a mess.
Thank you, Queen Smiley. Alexis from Texas, real quick, 5 years, where will we be?
In 5 years, we more than likely will probably be in a unfortunate worse position because things always get worse before they get better. So
right.
I mean, I'm enlisted in the army of the Lord, and I'm enlisted into the army with Courtney and everybody else. So we just gonna, if we got look
from Texas, according from Tennessee.
Look, and I'm saying, like, I don't know what they think they're coming for in Texas, because I mean, we got guns legally. We ain't even gotta have them legally for them to be legal. Like, I don't know what they thought, but it also just it looks like what Queen Smiley said, they trying to get that trigger out of us, and that type of stuff is the reason why I'm thinking it's, I mean, biblically it says it gets worse before it gets better, but also just seeing the tactics that they're doing, we know that we're going to really have to, like, saddle up and ride. Like, that's what it's going to be.
All right. Thank you, Alexis from Texas. I appreciate your perspective. All right. Wife School Podcast, what you got?
Sorry. I've been reading something. I'm just going to read just a couple of things that I've, discovered. It says, a letter steps to destroy a nation. If I wanted to destroy a country, I would promote evolution, removing the dignity of man. I would encourage the breakdown of the family by making sexual perversion legitimate, as what we are seeing. I would promote lies about religious freedoms and destroy faith. I would dismantle history and teach lies, making it possible to change the future by changing what people believe, the language that we're experiencing. I would strengthen children's rights, 4-year-olds that can determine what they want, women's rights, and weaken men's idea of themselves. And I'm just going to stop there. So These things are totally what I see manifesting, totally what I see happening. We're on a downward spiral. All we can do, as we see in these YouTube streets, wars happening, a little gender war, is to secure yourself, secure your family, and those that will listen, come on this side. Those that won't listen, that's fine. You'll reap what you sow, and just stay faithful. And that's it. That's all we got to stand on, is what God's declared who I am.
All right. Thank you so much, Wife School Podcast. As always, I love you to death, and everybody else that was on the panel so far. So thank you, Wife School. And also check out Wife School. I saw your last post where the guy was jumping from the car to the bus. That was hilarious.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, it was funny as hell. So thank you so much, Wife School Podcast. I appreciate you, sweetheart.
Love you guys.
All right. Real Precious. Woo-hoo. What's your thoughts? Where are we in 5 years? Where we at?
In 5 years, I think we probably will be fighting. You will see more violence because of this. I think you will see more people standing up, especially when you see commercials like that where it's just blatant, where they telling us what, again, kind of hidden in plain sight, but it's not really hidden anymore. It was hidden back in the day where you really didn't know about it, and they were shamed about it, so they kind of went back in their corner or in their closet. But now it's, blatant right in our face. And honestly, us women, we can stand up, but we also need our men to stand up in our community to get our communities back too, because the order of the family is being messed with as well, because the order of the family is God, the man, and the wife, and the children. Well, if you're going after the minds of the children, and the men are turning into women or wanting to be women, then that leaves us with what man? That leaves us with what leader? That leaves us with what guidance and what provision? So, I believe that men should also stand with women too, so that the family doesn't get destroyed, and that this community knows that we are protected. Because they're protected, right? They get to say whatever they want, go wherever they want, and do whatever they want in front of our children and in front of families. So I think that we all need to stand up to protect our community. And it's not just a woman's fight because these men want to be women or identify themselves as women, and don't want to answer questions straight on and give yes or no answers. We have to also protect our community, and that starts with the leaders of our community.
Man, thank you so much, Real Precious. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to the Real Precious, please go to the Real Precious and subscribe over there. She's doing the work over there. And so thank you so much, Real Precious. I'm always calling your name out because I think you're doing amazing work. So thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It was great being on the panel with you guys.
Absolutely.
Or
thank
ladies,
you,
I should say. Or ladies.
yeah, there you go. Be specific.
I know, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right? All right, man. Courtney. Oh God, what is up, girl?
Long time no see, baby.
Long time no see, man.
No,
So what's your? I know you finna load up and go in. What's your thoughts? Where are we at in 5 years?
I'm not gonna go in 5 years. It is going to get worse, but I am praying that more women take up the torch and get into the fight. I think this is our fight. Just like Real Precious said, it's God, man, woman, child. Well, it's upon the women. We got to protect our kids because we're there. We're in the schools. We usually can have more time off to do a little bit more things to make sure our children are protected. And, I think women need to start getting in the fight for our kids. And in 5 years, I see policies trying to get worse, but I do see more people speaking out. And I'm happy about this T.S. Madison, this Jess Hilarious thing, because I think it sparked a lot of things in Black women that I don't think we've seen. So for me, it's positive. It sparked something up. It kind of got out under some of our bellies, at least mine. So I'm happy to see that. And, you know, even with the video that you played, you know, I've seen that. And if you look at the comments were cheering them on. Like, you know, but then if you go on TikTok, there's a guy named Jeffrey Marsh who specifically targets kids and will tell you, I'm having a Patreon for all the kids that if you don't want to talk to your parents, you don't have to talk to your parents.
Wow.
Come to my Patreon, Jeffrey Marsh, right now. So it's blatant. Right now, there's a YouTube page, ABC for the gays, for the children. So it's teaching children gay, you know, ABCs of what is bisexuality? What is homosexuality? What is this? And it's using ABCs to target elementary kids. So it's out there and it's a lot, but we're so consumed about our own selves and so selfish about everything else consuming us that we're forgetting about our children and they're suffering. And they need us. And these are big conversations. I was happy to get on this panel. Clearly, I had a lot to say. But I think women need to start picking up the torch and fighting what rightfully belongs to us. Them kids mine. And I'm fighting for them. And I am mad. I am pissed off. And I'm pissed off because a lot of us ain't. And I'm trying to figure out when the hell some of us is going to get off your ass and really start fighting and do something. Like, what are you spending your days on? Just talking on YouTube or just go work and then go home and eat a burger? You know, like what other purpose do you have? What are you wanting to give back? Because so much was given to us. People died for our rights. And I think we're obligated to live for something bigger than just me. And I want to live to see my daughter live in a society that looks at her as a woman and not a cis woman.
Yep.
And that's worth me fighting for. So ain't nobody gonna shut me the hell up. That's all.
I know that's right.
You know, I runs my mouth.
Well, thank you so much, Courtney, for being here.
Thank
and
you
when I sent you the invite, you was like, "Yes, I'm coming." I was like, "Yeah, my girl said she coming."
Yup, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. And you know what? I'm gonna say this. I said it earlier that I invited someone who was trans to the show tonight, and they agreed to come. And then at the last minute, they said, "No, I'm not coming."
Why do you think?
I don't know. But hopefully, you know, one day I could get you on here to have that conversation with that person, and y'all can have a conversation about the ebbs and flows of what's happening in that community.
Yeah, because you know, even a lot of transgender men and women are not with what's going on, and it's not that I'm not. Do whatever you want to do, just don't bring my children in it.
Right. That's
just go and do
live your life. Live your
life, but quit trying to force things on me. And then people say, well, what am I trying to force? Well, you're calling me something that I don't agree to, and I think it's a slur. And I don't want to be called that. Well, it's a medical term. No, no. If I say no, then it's no.
Exactly.
Now, can I say you're misgendering me?
Come on.
You know, so it's do your thing, but keep that over there, keep it in your lane and leave mine alone. And that's it. And so I know a lot of trans people that I've unfortunately came in my DMs and started going off was like, or some of them was like, I don't agree with all this stuff. And I agree it is overboard. I know some lesbians that are mad about it. Because there's a lot of lesbians that feel like transgender women are taking over their spaces. Right. And now their spaces is now coming in with some penis. And they like, no, You're not a woman. I want a woman with a vagina. So their stories are not even being heard.
Well, you keep doing the work. I'm gonna be over there supporting you. And I'll definitely be sending you invites when we have these deep conversations like this because they need to be had.
Yeah, and I'm with you.
So thank you so much, Courtney, for being here, and everybody else that came tonight, man. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight.
All right, I'm out. Love you.
And Courtney, you want to shout out your channel before you leave, sweetheart?
Oh, I am Courtney Michelle. All that's IG and that's YouTube. Holla at your girl. Like I said, I'm gonna do something on that John Money. That man was interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about his ass.
All right. I love you, sis. love you, girl. All right. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Everybody that came through tonight. I appreciate it. I appreciate the chat. You guys are undefeated. This has been one of the biggest shows here at Black Men Unfiltered Network on tonight because the conversation was very important. We still got 78 people right now still watching us and still listening to the sound of my voice. We got 105 likes. We had over 18 super chats and cash apps come through to people who are truly supporting great content. I really, 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 really appreciate you guys. Let me call out the rest of these super chats, like 4, and then we'll be out of here for tonight. We got What We Know podcast, crazy, with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, ladies, pay Tyrus no, never mind. He's just trans attracted. Lord have mercy. All right. Then we got Marcus Evans with another $5 super chat. He said, this was a great show tonight. BMU, you got to do this a little more. Absolutely, sir. We're going to tackle everything over here. Shout out to all the ladies on the panel. Y'all did great. Good night. All right. Thank you so much. We got Trigger Mike in here tonight. Thank him so much for being here. He sent 2, so let me give him 2 hand claps. He said, shout out to BMU and the panel. Oh no, Anissa over here terrorizing y'all. All right. And then the other $5 super chat. He said, y'all better show your support. Hit that super chat for this deep conversation. Guys, these conversations have to be had. Please, guys, the ones who are still watching right now, it's 78 people watching. We got 105 likes. Thank you so much. If you're just getting here and you didn't hit the like button, hit that like button so this can get in the algorithm and we can get out more and be more aggressive in our conversations and be more aggressive because this is what I'm trying to do here at Black Men Unfiltered Network. And thank you guys for allowing me into your homes, into your phones, into your car speakers, anything that you're hearing my voice in right now. I truly, truly love all of you. And I appreciate you, the ones who gave, the ones who hit that like button, that subscribe button, hit the notification button, because I'll go through this on Tuesday night. On Monday, I'm with Security Boss, and we do a show on Monday with a Security Boss. On Tuesday, we have this show, Talk That Talk Tuesday. We have Women's Night tonight. Next Tuesday, it'll be 5 women, 5 men. That conversation is going to get deep because I had someone from the community reach out to me, and he wants to come on and do a show with me to discuss where we're going wrong about that community and when it comes to trans women. So that's definitely going to be a hot one next Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have a sports show. If you're into sports, we have a sports show at 7 p.m. called 1 in 1 Sports Show. Right after that, we have Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shushu. It's a sister and brother combo. They bring that heat with great, great, great conversations. And they're going to have a great show this Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the name of that show is going to be called Are We Wired to Cheat? Y'all got to come and y'all definitely got to come and be a part of that. On Thursday night, we have your mental health in mind on Black Men Unfiltered Network. We have Dr. Nkumbe, who's in the chat right now, and we have Coach K, who is a life coach. I brought those two people together, created a show called Breaking the Cycle. They'll be here Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the name of their show this week is Stop Acting Like a Little Bitch, Dealing with Sensitive People. That's on Thursday. So make sure you guys come and get a clinical perspective on how not to act like a little bitch. On Friday, we have the barbershop conversation where all the men come together, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This Friday, we will be talking about why Black men get so much pushback for disciplining their children, but then when they're absent, they still get the same pushback. Is it damn if you do, damn if you don't? We'll have that on Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Any guy that want to come and join us in the chat or join us on the show, please come on Friday and we'll get you in. All right. This has been another Black Men Unfiltered Network show. This is Talk That Talk Tuesday, Ladies Night. The ladies spoke up. They spoke out. Thank everybody. Queen Smiley, Miss Mo Reacts, Mrs. She Said, I Am Courtney Michelle, The Real Precious, Anissa Glass, The Wife School Podcast, Alexis from Texas, and all the ladies and gentlemen who were in the chat. You guys mean so much to me. I love each and every one of you. Can't say that enough. And always remember, guys, do something nice for someone. We're losing the fact that we're not doing for each other anymore. We're not serving each other. Wives, serve your husbands. Husbands, love your wives, right? Children, be obedient. But in the end, do something nice for someone. And if you don't have anybody else to do anything nice for, do something nice for yourself, because self-help is the absolute best help. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and we will see you guys on tomorrow at 7 for the sports, 8:30 for Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shushu, and so on and so forth through the week. We out. Peace.
Go. Fire by night and a pillar of vapor by day. Walk through the desert, but when you admire the light, see the villains are paper mache. I'm on the way to the promised land, no contraband. I'm an honest man, I'm coming. I'm young man, I'm set free, playing my part like the Red Sea. Man, I'm from heaven, I'm here with my brethren. The volume's 11, now we're getting rowdy. Swing from the scaffolding, spiritual happenings, miracles are all around me. This ain't no balcony, I'm in the front